X, Y, and Z.
In all states.
Probably one copy if you want all of it.
Oh, yeah. I just, everything, yeah, I'm not trying to copy the cloud.
Yeah, you do.
On everything I say, because this is important. Personally. I mean, these are serious, and it's expensive. Yeah. missing on jury duty today. Bob Goldstein, our vice chair, but I will take the roll call. Mr. John Smulligan here. Ms. Joanne LeBret.
Here.
Mr. Ken Walton here. And Jay Williams, chairman of the board here. In addition, we have with us our legal counsel.
Kyle McGee with QTech Rock.
Thank you, and our chief engineer for the district, Anna Saunders.
Thank you.
And Ryan Mendez, our illustrious district manager who manages day-to-day operations for us. And we're delighted to have everybody. In addition, we have in the meeting, our people from Juniper, our great landscaping company who has worked tirelessly to improve services throughout the community over the last several years. And we appreciate their hard work and their hard efforts today. In addition, we've got other members of the community sitting out front. So if anybody would like to have a public comment prior to the beginning of the meeting, and any public comments on items that are on the agenda. Any public comments, we will take those at this time. Ma'am, please step to the microphone, state your name and address, and make your comment. We're delighted to have you. Thank you for coming.
My name is Fran Rosen-Swire. I live at 6647 Sutro Heights Lane. I would like to compliment Ken for all the work he's done, and he's been able to resolve the problems that I've had with the dirt pile over out in the park behind my house.
Outstanding.
My issue is I'm not sure that I follow the proper protocols when I filed the complaint. I have all my emails that date back to the beginning of April. And
Of this year.
of this year. Unfortunately, I felt that, and I apologize to you because we've been in conversations a lot, that I was being stonewalled, and until I got in contact with Ken, and I had to go through people in the community saying, what should I do now? Because nothing's being done, nothing was done. So the gentleman from Juniper said he's going to start on Friday. I really appreciate it. But I don't think that as residents, we should have to go and jump through so many hoops to get the satisfaction that we need, especially when it's a legitimate complaint.
Well, sometimes we found that people, depending upon what the issue is, they may head off in the wrong direction to the right, to the improper organization that's responsible. And we understand how that can be confusing.
But some of the emails that I had, was, we sent out our team and they said there was nothing we can do, which is really not true. And you agreed, and then you said, then you had your,
Come back now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they said there was nothing they could do. And then I had a gentleman called Gio, whatever his name,
Yeah.
call me, and I asked him, what do you do? And he says, I'm in charge of the meetings. And I said, but how are you going to resolve this? He says, well, I can't. And this was a conversation we had in public.
You need to know. You need to know.
The issue we have here is her backyard is adjacent to Park Drive. There's a berm that's very visible behind her home that became an eyesore. There were wells in there, died. Juniper came in and took them out. And the other problem we have is the fact that there is a gopher tortoise living in that berm.
Yes.
So that limits what we can actually do. But we can do something, and we're doing something. We're taking care of the side of the berm with mulch, and we're gonna put some trinettes in there, so over time, that visibility will be reduced. And making it look more appropriate in there.
Yeah.
So in that case, we were limited as to what we actually can do.
And that I understand, but if you guys were able to figure out a way to resolve the issue. My issue was, why did this have to go back with so many emails and so much stuff when there was it was a legitimate concern right from the beginning. I sent you pictures. Joanne's, I think, horrified. I just want to know how we can make the whole process smoother in case somebody else has an issue.
We find that from time to time, situations like yours happen, sometimes by happenstance, with not any specific, way to address it. We certainly appreciate the efforts of Brian and Ken in resolving the issue. And sometimes it's just hard work to get it done right sometimes.
But that's not the answer.
I don't,
I know that. It's the answer. Way, something like this can happen is once you put in a legitimate complaint.
do you need to, first of all of our addresses, email addresses are on our website for the CDD. If you believe it's a CDD issue, you write to Brian, and we tell people, write to Brian first. He copies all of us if there's major things that need to be followed up and we need to know. And generally, I get a copy of most of everything that goes through. And, but that's the procedure. Sometimes the procedure has a hiccup.
Okay, one other thing is, when Ken came by, and what he says, Juniper was supposed to inspect that, you know. Not used to this, go through all the properties and check it. And that's been like that for a very long time, so I don't think that they've come by, or they've gone along the pathway, but never got out of the car to go and actually inspect.
You wouldn't know it unless you walk behind, and that's where the issue was. So, and we
It
talked,
wasn't easily visible.
it wasn't easily visible, but it's certainly visible for Fran.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're working on it and we'll have it fixed by Friday.
well, I really appreciate all your help, and I would like to put this into the minutes, but I really appreciate all the help you did, and that, you know, hopefully I'll never have to come back again.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming today and letting us know that we're getting on the case. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any other public comments? Seeing that there are none, we're moving on to community updates. We're starting with Juniper, their community update. Gentlemen.
Good afternoon. As far as Mo's schedule goes, we're pretty tight. We're getting through the whole community on schedule every week. The CBD parks are where we're working out with detail. They're currently in phase 8, doing the ponds, that part right there goes around the pond. The weeds, we're having an issue with artillery weeds now. Last month was the vetch. Now we're coming into the season where artillery weeds are starting to really spike. We do have a plan to use a certain chemical to kill them. It's a selective herbicide. That's the biggest hiccup for detail. And then the palms, we're starting to trim the palms in the community. They are going to be working on the palms along Wickham Road that go down that path. This weekend. Those are ours.
Okay.
Yeah, they were gonna try and do it last weekend, but they didn't get to them. They're gonna do it next weekend. And then after they're done with phase 8, they're gonna jump on the CDD, going down the boulevard. And hit all those, and they're gonna go back to doing the rest of the community on the left side of Legacy, on the west side. And they're hitting the palms in the parks that they're in those phases. Fertilizer, we are going to be having the fertilizer guy come back. They're gonna be treating for turf weeds again and getting a fertilizer application down before the brownout period. In the summer comes in the rain. The biggest weed right now in the grasses, like I know I've heard, is the it's called sedge. Just from that one rain that we got a couple Mondays ago, it's really kicked it off. So what we're seeing is the turf is mowed, but the sedge is growing so fast, we're getting like tall weeds in the grass, and got a couple complaints about that. But there is a selective herbicide that we can spray with the fertilizer at the same time that should get it. That's bad.
Okay.
I want to thank you guys for all the work you've been doing. I can tell you from experience, that going through a 6-week drought and the property looking the way it did during that drought is a win. I've seen that whole legacy completely burned out. Yeah. On that west side, totally like a desert. We had some spots, but we were getting irrigation. So we keep it green. So I applaud your work, Bill's organization and Dave's leadership. Okay, now Dave's gonna be leaving this. He's gonna be going to Pennsylvania. They don't have any palm trees there. But we've got a new person, Ben Race, coming in. Yep. Right, behind Dave. So he'll be here for a while before he actually moves to it. Just want the board to know that that leadership change.
Okay.
So what I want to do is I want to go over my reports, to get everybody up to speed. I want to take a little bit of time to read. If there's any questions, I'd like to get those questions answered. It's on there.
Bob, can you mute yourself?
Yes, I just wanted to echo what Kenny had to say.
So
Okay, I'll mute.
yeah, I'd like to jump to a topic called irrigation overhaul. And I want to read to you what I put down in March, so we all know where we are. Let's set the table straight here. So over the past year, there's been many discussions by both HERVA and HIDA concerning the age of the irrigation system and the eventual need to replace the underground wiring, especially on homeowner lots. However, the CDD common areas will be dealing with the same replacement issues in the near future. It's inevitable. No official plan to overhaul the existing system has been provided. The irrigation agreement of August in 2022 between the affected parties, which would be CDD, HERVA, HIDA, and the terraces, lays out the maintenance and financial responsibilities for the Heritage Island irrigation system. An overhaul is the recommended course of action since the root cause problem concerns the 2-wire infrastructure that's buried in the ground. Again, the CDD has responsibility for the pumps, the main lines, the controllers, wire servicing common areas, decoders and solenoids, and piece part support to the irrigation heads servicing the common area. That's where the CDD comes in. It's important to understand that each phase, 1 through 8, E and F, has common area that require irrigation. An integrated replacement plan is required as to when the overhaul should occur. Since the ages of the phases are different, it is recommended that a progressive overhaul approach be considered. The overhaul could take 4 or even 5 years to complete this effort. The worst phases are 3, 2, and 1. It could be 3, 1, and 2 in that order, but we know 3 is the worst. And of course, we have E and F, which is more newer. The root cause problem that causes the zones to drop is the result of faulty and compromised wire, especially in the older phases. This is negatively affecting the reliability of the system on the homeowner lots. And common area, we've replaced wire in here already. The rough estimate for this phase is about 360,000, but that's just an estimate. That's a guesstimate. Rough order of magnitude. It's certainly not detailed. We don't have a detailed item list. We don't have a lot of things to get a real number. The process itself would basically be pretty simple because we'd leave all the wire and the stuff in the ground. We just rewire the valve boxes to the controllers. So we have consistent power for the phase. That's kind of the game plan. The phase approach allows us to overhaul the worst wiring per phase over time, where we can budget and reserve funds to significantly correct our irrigation reliability throughout Heritage Island. Therefore, the CDD needs to ensure we have adequate funding and reserve for the eventual irrigation wire replacement. We're currently working on the 2026 budget, which we will preview today to the board and to the community, and intend to recommend board for approval of approximately 55,000 that would be necessary for phase three, if we decide to go into this project. Again, that's a guesstimate. So that kind of sets the stage as probably one of the most important things we're looking at in the future. You know, we're trying to plan ahead for this instead of having this bill fall on the laps, right? It's better, proper prior planning.
Prevents poor performance.
So we want to make sure we have visibility on this. So in April, like Bill was talking about earlier, Juniper added 12 people to the workforce in April. There's a program in Florida we can tap into to get additional manpower, especially for the summer months.
Okay.
So those assets are being used throughout the property. Mowing, like Bill said, is on track. We've had no complaints about any gaps. The homeowner lots and the common areas are being mowed together. Okay, I have not had any complaints recently, at least in the past year, about that problem. That problem is going away. That's not to say when I get home later, I might get a complaint. Okay, but as of right now, it's been pretty steady. The complaint was phase 3 and 4 were behind in detail. They've caught up with that. We had that rainy period there where it affected schedules, and now they're back on track. As a side note, we had 3 dead pines removed from Legacy Boulevard in the median, close to where Twin was. They just up and died. We had Chris Drews come in and take them out. They were removed in May, in the beginning of May. Karen Bowl will be the next bullnose refresh, mitigate the line of sight problem. I didn't realize how severe that slope was at the corner of Carambola. It is a line of sight problem there, so they got the job to do. They're scheduling it. I'm hoping that we can get this done pretty soon. On the other side of the street, we're having Chris Drews come in to do that cleanup. So we have a tandem contractor effort going on here to clean up that mess. So that will be at the corner of Savoy. So what's happened is we've kind of morphed the joint landscape team into a committee that is going to focus on the same things. It's just basically a name change, to be honest. We're probably going to have the same members. We might have a couple of new members. But in this particular case, the joint landscape team only provides updates concerning the contractor performance and information and other matters that affects the HIDA and the CDD and the terraces. Right? And why do we do that? We do it because landscape jointness with the boards is critical with the delivery of consistent landscape services throughout Heritage Island. You have to work together. We've tried this rice bowl management before with different vendors in here for landscaping, and it just doesn't work. We have to work as a team. So I support that, and there's going to be more to follow with that, but we need to understand that the CDD is part of the community, and I look at a lot of things as a whole. How do we fit in? Making sure that we're doing our part for the community. So moving on to May. This is the Rosetta report that we get every 2 months. Rosetta sends a person in here. It was Josh Fisher. He came in and did the report in March. Juniper is just about finished with this report. 90% are complete. We have a few small items hanging out that require small proposals that we can get done. So we've got a little bit of cleaning up to do with this report but for the board's purposes, it's pretty much finished on the March report. Okay, May. We finally got some relief from Mother Nature. She answered the bell for some much needed rain. We were coming out of about a 6-week, almost 7-week drought. Juniper has been working hard to keep up with the maintenance schedules. Most recently, they have been focusing on the sidewalk hedges along Wickham and behind the Galindo sidewalk, which is down by the water. that area down there is in constant need of detail work because of all the lush palms we have back there and the shrubs and all that stuff that was put in. So it requires a little more TLC. We were getting some complaints and we were able to fix those. The bulldozers. Juniper completed the corner of Sansone. And basically they were awaiting, we are now waiting for the sod at the corner of Bunston. The rain shut down the sod farms for a while. We couldn't cut sod, so we couldn't finish the job. And Bill's working on it now. So when are we gonna have sod in there?
Right.
Friday. Okay. We already talked about the Clark 5 berm. When Frank came up here, that's gonna be fixed Friday. We have another area from a homeowner. It's at the corner of Funston along the CDD hedge line. It needs a mini refresh. It looks like crap. So I got an email from the owner of the home and I took Bill over there with his people. They're gonna come in with a mini proposal to tidy up the place. It's got these mullet grass growing and they got a myrtle tree growing up to the palm tree over there and we need to clean that out, clean it up. So we get that. So when we get it, we look at it. If it's legitimate, we're gonna go do something about it, right?
Yeah.
Because we want our property looking what? Sharp. We want our property looking sharp. So they owe me a mini proposal, actually me and Brian, so we can take a look at it. I mean, Brian's been instrumental with all this stuff, working with him. He's been great to work with. And he's doing a great job for us.
I believe I sent that proposal on Monday
Okay,
or Tuesday. Or yesterday.
There's a couple in queue for approval, and we'll get together after.
we'll get with that. So that's it for May about the landscaping. So what about our night landscaping? We have night landscaping. What is that?
Night landscaping.
Yeah,
What is it?
it's the FPL lights.
Uh,
Okay, so. Yes, our new LED lights have been installed by FPL. Although we believe the project would take 3 weeks, they have their crew at maximum capacity and completed the work in just under 2 weeks. FPL leadership was fully engaged getting this job completed. They included Chris Benoit, who basically is the project lead. Butch Salyers was his assistant. Jake Marshall coordinated the whole effort. He's in South Daytona. And the guy on property was a guy by the name of Justin Fetter. He did a great job. He kept me informed every day where they were, how many poles were going in. I let Brian know about the progress. Because all I had to do was get in the car and go over here and look. That was the most well-organized process I've ever seen.
I was just amazed at how they were doing.
Okay, I only had one complaint. One guy came out and said the pole had a little bit out of plumb. He looked at it and he fixed it.
Have we had any complaints about the intensity?
No.
Because I know the old lights had those black shields on some of the property.
They're not gonna be like you. Okay, we have no complaints on intensity.
Yeah, it looks.
In fact, people that walk in the morning, we have some that go out and walk at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And they told me that at its night's light, it's just the right amount. That's what I've been told. So,
Kenny, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me,
I can hear
Ken?
you.
It's Bob. Those lights were fantastic. My wife loved them and everyone we knew loved them. And those guys were cooperative. When you asked them a question, they answered it. So that was one of the best things we had done. Thank you.
Okay, so now we have consistent lighting, and illumination. But I did send them a thank you note, thanking them for the hard work they did. I sent it to Chris and to those guys that I mentioned, so we appreciate their work. Now, sometimes there's lessons learned. At the back gate, coming in, you're coming in from the north, so you're on the west side of that entrance. The 3 poles on the inbound side coming in into Heritage Isle were never in the tower. They were never part of our inventory. Somehow they were installed. Somehow they had TLN numbers on them. FPL never wired them up. And whoever did the wiring did it incorrectly. Somehow they got into the FPL hole hand in there, the handhold when they put it in. And it was like put together with masking tape, some baloney. So all stopped, they ripped all that out. And they wired them up properly, and they put the 3 poles in, so we're on the hook for those 3 poles. It's 3 poles, 6 lights, that's $150 a month. It's a no-brainer, right?
Yep.
So they were able to fix it on the fly, they had the poles. I asked them, do you have the poles? So Jake Marshall, he was the lead for this, he said, yeah, we can finish that, we have the 2 extra poles. Because the 1 pole that got smashed by the lady at Christmas.
Yeah.
That was like a freebie pole. Okay, so we made out on that, but for all those years, that wasn't part of their tariff.
Oh.
So we kind of got them like for free, yeah, okay. So it's good to have a good relationship with them,
Yep.
and that worked out fine, and they were very appreciative of the fact that they were able to wire them up right, so they're wired correctly, there's no electrical problem back here. So we're good to go.
Only took 20 years worth of a lease, right?
So what we're doing now with the joint committee is, over the past month, Juniper's been dealing with extended drought, and then Mother Nature gave us some much needed rain, and now we face the beginning of the summer, hot days and humidity. Everything has started to grow at fast pace, including the weeds. However, they're meeting the scheduled maintenance services with minimal delay. The committee looks at this from 3 goals. 1, we want quality landscape services. Number 2, reliable irrigation. And number 3, we want our properties looking sharp. Those are the 3 tenets that we keep in mind when we have any kind of meeting. Does it hit one of those goals? It should. If we go through all those 3 goals all the time consistently, we're gonna be successful, right? These are at the forefront of the Heritage Isle landscape requirements. I'm not gonna go over the bulldozers, and the actual items on here, but we're pretty much caught up with things. One thing that Jay brought up last meeting was the fact that the trees might be lifted. Well, Bill indicated to us now, he's got a supervisor going around, I don't know the frequency of it, but he's going around and checking the trees. So if it's lower than 8 feet, they gotta get trimmed over a sidewalk. If it's lower than 15 feet over Legacy or any street, it's gotta be trimmed, right?
Yes, sir.
So how often does that happen?
We do it with rotation. So when we're in that phase, they should be checking that. And Rondi's learning, so we're getting there.
What about the boulevard?
Boulevard, same thing with
Okay.
rotation, yeah. They were trimming some yesterday, actually, on Boulevard.
Good. Real good.
Can I have a question about
Yes.
the bulldozers?
Yes.
Because when they put the plants in front of the rock wall and point, they don't move, thank you very much. But I noticed on the invoices for Juniper, to actually state the plants in front of the rock wall.
Appreciate that.
So it's not as
That's not gonna happen.
it could be. Thank you.
So we're gonna make sure that that wall can be seen, I mean, we did power wash. They look nice,
Yes, they do.
they do. So, the next thing I'm gonna come
Let
to
me,
the
let
board.
me ask you, can I ask you a question? I gotta get going again. With your committee that includes the HIDA board and I guess the HERBA board at this time, have we made any progress in getting new prices on redoing? 3, we got a price. How about 1 and 2?
No,
Have we
just
been
3
able to
right.
get an idea of what that's gonna cost us? Because they're gonna go down one right after the other.
I know, but we're focusing on phase 3 right now.
Yeah, phase 1 has kind of had some big problems too, but I understand we're focusing in on that to get it repaired. But we need some pricing for the other 2 so we can get prepared for that too. Is
Yeah,
that
I'm sure we're gonna be
possible,
able-
or do we have to wait for their merger?
Merger is gonna happen on the 28th of May, according to Dave Francis, he told me yesterday.
Did bro, pricing for everything.
So there's no hiding, there's no hurry to the 28th.
Okay, so after that point, we can kind of request some pricing from them that they can send out either Juniper or whoever they want to get a price from.
Yeah, well, we're going through the request for information process now where we go out and find out the capacity out there, who can actually do this work.
Right.
That did bro.
That's where we are. That's where we're starting. We're at the very beginning of this, Bob. But yeah, I'm cognizant of phase 1 and also 3 and 2
Right.
as the worst.
Okay,
So I
thanks a
was-
lot. You guys need anything from me? I got to go back in again.
You're good for now, Bob. I'll,
Okay.
fill you in on the back.
You can always send me a text. I'll try to answer it if I can. If not, I'll probably be back in an hour or so.
We'll be here.
Okay, thanks.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
So that's it. We do have a schedule for these RFI responses, and it will take us through the middle of June, and then anybody that's serious about putting a bid on the thing, they'll come in with a statement of work, an as-built where the wire will go, which we don't have, which would be good. A rough estimate of the cost and a statement of work. And then from then, the boards can put together an RFP with Brazil for the CDPs. That's kind of how I see it unfolding. Any questions so far? I'm just about done, but I wanted to share all this information with the board, and also the homeowners are in here to let them know we're doing a lot of stuff.
You bet.
But we have responsibility as fiduciaries to not only make sure we manage the money properly, but we manage the funds that we need to operate the place. Okay, it's a double-edged sword. You gotta spend to keep it looking good. Property values are important. People that drive in here, drive up and down Legacy Boulevard, there's no side exit coming in off of, Fran Jane. They gotta go one way in and one way out. And first impressions are very important. I mean, if Legacy looks bad, maybe the whole place looks bad. So we wanna keep it looking sharp. Okay? Brian knows what I'm talking about.
I do that very well.
That's it for my update.
Thank you so much. Any questions from any of the supervisors to Ken? Seeing that there are none, we'll move on. Thank you, Ken, so much. Like the young lady who was here earlier, what you do is just so important to this community. And we can't thank you enough for all of what you continue to do daily, keeping our place look great. We're all proud to drive through here. Saturday night, we were coming back from an event, about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And the lights just look so beautiful coming in. I mean, they were all just, the right amount of luminescence, not overkill, just nice and bright and clean looking.
Well, I talked to Chris about that. He was the expert. And he said, you want a soft white, right?
Exactly.
And I said, okay, well, what, on the scale you got there, is that considered to be cold or hot? Cold would mean very bright,
Yeah,
very bright. I said,
no, this was,
gotta have something that's a sweet spot here.
you,
So he said, the bulbs you're gonna get are 3,000 kelvins. That's how they measure it. So that's the bulb that we have in those fixtures.
they look perfect. I mean, the right amount of coverage, but not too brassy looking, you
Right.
know? And so it was just a beautiful ride in on Saturday night coming in. I wanted to mention that. It was just great. That was a huge project. We did, about 2 years of work, pre-planning that whole thing. And because of that, we were able to get it done in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So, thank you again for all you did on that major project. Is there a pond maintenance person available for us? Brian?
You guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
All right. 3. Oh my, there we go.
Oh,
There we go.
thanks.
As you may know, we have gotten, I'll just put it politely, comments from people regarding our ponds and or grass growing and so forth. So that's our knowledge base. Thank you, guys. Good job. Thank you.
Take care. See ya.
They begin to be a sore point for a lot of people over time. So, I know you're coming with the wonderful good news.
Well, so some of the comments, I haven't got any recent comments
Okay,
from any, so I would like to,
okay,
we haven't actually had any major issues outside of that. From when we were here last, we discussed what we were doing with the beneficial, which, with the inland boat, we have burned them back off the perimeter edge, like we said,
Yeah.
couple foot. And then have groomed them more as we go. From there, we had the proposal that were sitting out there on whether you wanted to remove other areas that we have not seen back by, like what we did on, I forget the name, on where Bob's place was there in the test area.
yeah,
From there, we dealt with the same issues as the long crew. We got to deal with the drought issues in the last couple months as well, where the waters got low, as expected that time of the year anyways. In the spring, we get a lot of algae. And as that water comes up and we treat it, I just wrote the property again before we came in, just to make sure there's no surprises. The water is still a little bit low, but looks much better than it did about a month and a half ago, as expected. There is a couple areas where we do have some hydrilla starting to pop up, which we're trying to mitigate for you without doing additional proposals. In our contract, you will see that any additional hydrilla areas like that would require additional means. But we are trying to mitigate those without going that route for you. If we get any further, obviously I'll reach out to Brian and let you know. And from there, from what I saw today, if they're complaining about grasses, it's still probably the spike brush, which is really just the direction like we discussed before. I'll kill everything you want. I'll cut everything out you guys want. I need that decision, from you guys, right? Of exactly how much, just let me know. And if I get that from Brian, and like I said, I can send you smaller proposals from bigger proposals, I'll have to get it in, because the areas that we did it in my opinion, look wonderful. I haven't had any other complaints other than the people that might want it next to me. And honestly, I haven't had a couple, any major complaints since.
Good news.
And if I have, pass it along.
appreciate what you're doing. Could you help us by creating a one-pager on and explaining to our residents, here's what's happening in our ponds, here's what's being done by your company, here's what's being done at the direction of the CDD. And we have a plan in place to work on these areas. We want to be able to communicate that to the residents in total, so that many of them have an expectation sometimes that does not align with reality.
And
So we want to
you're
give
spot
a
on.
realistic things. We want to have a realistic way to explain that, to share that with them, just so that everybody's a bit calmer with regard to reaction to it. Because we know that we're working on it with you. We are aware, but not everybody is. And so we want to be able to include that in an e-blast to the community. Here's what we're doing, just to bring you up to speed. Here's what's been done. Here's what we're continuing to do. And here's a plan. All I need is a one-pager of here's what's being done. Maybe a couple of photographs, when you guys are out there, a couple of quick photographs that could be included so we can do an e-blast with regard to what's going on there. I think that'll be very helpful to all of us. Okay?
And I would love to get those areas of needs for your biggest,
Yeah,
I just, if you can give me them addresses, we'd love to make sure that we're all on the same page. Like,
okay,
I know with the broad spectrum, we're always gonna have the same problem, because
Always.
some people love it, some people hate it, right? I go through, I'm cleaning it out. This is beautiful, why are you taking it out? So we're all on the same page there.
right.
And then the next person comes by and it looks so much better, get rid of it. So anyway, when you get to them areas, I'd love to address them that way. Maybe we can have some one-on-one time to, let's see how much we could get out of those areas.
Okay, well, I remember the last thing I saw was an email with a photograph from a resident.
And it was the same stuff that we've been talking about from day one.
Exactly.
Well, no, the positive one And just to, so we were gonna cover this in the budget, but, we've been talking internally, we've received feedback and like the treatment that you guys are starting to condense the stems. It's not- We're gonna talk about it in our budget because we were considering that big, stem rush project.
Sure.
But whatever they're doing now, from the reports that we've received, is working, so now we just continue to.
It's just a little bit of time that approach, guys, because if I come in there and just kill all of them, it's gonna here. You will have more complaints, and then you're gonna have to remove your right away, because others, I mean, sitting here, no one would be very happy with that. And that's why I suggested in the past, instead of doing the broad spectrum, here's just throw it all on your lap, remove it all at one cost. Taking that smaller approach and doing some smaller areas, I think will benefit you better. In my opinion, I mean, once again, it's means nothing, because you're. I would always leave some of it. I know different opinions there. We can definitely have areas that we can condense it more. But once again, it's y'all's decision. We're not saying we can't do it. We just need the green light to do it. And which funds and direction you guys want to go to do that. We can do whatever you want.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here today. It's been a constant challenge over the years. And, we're happy to have your help. We just need to we want to be able to communicate that to the residents with regard to what's being done and the process that we're doing.
And I'm gonna make this comment because I know there's always someone that will disagree with you. From knowing the seasonal change, guys, the ponds look good today.
Yeah.
Considering what it is, especially considering they're still about a foot or so low.
Yeah.
On a lot of the ponds I look at, and you gotta expect with the vallis area that's in your ponds, those get algae on it. It's the other submerged beneficial that stays in it. And, I don't even like it as either. I kind of agree with residents when it tops out and gets that. But considering it looks pretty doggone good considering it's a foot low right now.
Okay.
So, but once again, I encourage you guys to give me your feedback. And then we can kind of diagnose it from there and what your views are on ours. And then we can at least give ourselves a chance to explain what's going on with it.
Okay.
All right? And once again, get to Brian. Brian's good. Brian's always had no problem giving me a holler. And, we'll try and make it right.
Can I have your card too before you leave the car?
Sure. We'll get it.
One of the things that you might want to try is, and I agree totally with Jay, we need to be able to translate that to homeowners that live on the water. So we want to be able to, maybe with a visual of before and after approach with photos that we could send out in an e-blast saying, hey, in March, it looked like this. In June, because of the maintenance we're doing, here's how it looks today. See, a visual is important.
Yes.
That because that's what we're focusing on, right? They look and see, they think it's weeds. So you might want to consider doing something like that.
Yes, which we have attached in that big meeting.
Okay.
I would say that 90% of the pictures I get are the exact same picture, which is why we sent out that flyer. We did the flyer with you that showed the different beneficials and all that. So that's the hard part. I don't know how to make some of the individual residents, but we can give you that information again as well. And please do pass it out 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
The more they see it, maybe the more receptive some of the other people that ignore one flyer from the next, maybe. The information's free, right? So we'll get it to you.
Okay. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Any comments or questions from the other supervisor? Okay, we're good to go. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Good see you.
Thanks a lot.
It's a lot of work. It's a huge job. It never goes away.
You've got my personal number. We just, with the Tigers merger that we did, we've got new cards coming.
Okay. Brian will give you my address so you can mail it to.
Yes.
So you're good.
We've got the email.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll do it right now.
Appreciate you coming today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, up next is our staff reports. We'll start with district council.
Sure, it should be, I don't really have anything specific to report, then we rely on the legal file, which is always a good thing.
That's good.
But, obviously, passing the proposed budget or approving the proposed budget today will be a sustained, take the budget process this year. You know, we all know it's, so, happy to answer any questions if there are any, but.
Okay, stand by. And,
The Form 1, yeah, that will be,
Form 1 just came out, yeah, we got an email today.
yeah, it should be due, I believe, July 1st.
July 1.
Yeah, there is a break period. If it's not in by July 1st, they will start finding you, September 1st. So hopefully nobody's at that point. But, you know, I'm sure Rosetta can,
Rosetta Geo, the assistant for Brian.
yeah,
usually sends a reminder.
Yes.
Yeah,
a
they'll-
Reminder emails to everybody, just to remind you to fill out your Form 1 and get that in on time.
yeah. So just something to make note of, you know, while we're on that subject, the training for, you know, that you had to complete last year for the first time, that's due in December. So, you know, I'll just periodically keep reminding you as we go forward.
Feel free to send us all, a little,
Sure. I can,
from you to everybody. Hey,
I can send out that memo that I sent out last year.
Okay.
With all the links to the free.
Is that the, would that have a listing of the ethics courses?
Yes, and it'll,
Because I haven't seen any of that for quite a while, and it would be nice if we could, if we're gonna have to keep up, what, 2 hours or 4 hours?
Yeah,
yeah,
or,
2 hours of ethics training and,
Yeah, I've not seen a listing of courses for a while, and how to,
yeah, it'll likely be the same one as last year. I know the Commission on Ethics is, potentially putting out some new ones, but, you know, it'll just be a link to the document that you can follow
Okay.
and just, you know, at your leisure, just before December 31st.
okay,
Said it's due by December.
Yes, it is. It's a
So when a person gets elected in the previous November, they go all the way a whole year without
yeah.
any required training. Okay, just checking.
I mean,
but you can do it.
You can do it throughout the year.
Yeah.
About them. You're right.
sure.
Thank you.
So I will, I'll circulate that memo again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. District Engineer Anna.
So, hey guys, I am still working really hard to get you a bridge inspection proposal and recommendation on that. Reached out and spoken multiple times with Rush Construction, who has, I don't know, a specialty in this area. I really was under the impression I would have information for you prior to this meeting. They have been very communicative, but delayed in getting those responses. So now the estimate is that I will have a response from them by the end of next week. Continue to follow up with them. They're not running away from me, so I think they're still interested in the project, but I'm struggling to get folks to be interested in either inspecting or replacing those headways. So I'll just continue following up on that as I can.
Okay, just shoot a copy, Brian, so we can, we'll just get it out to everybody so they'll be up to speed on it, on the issue. So if we have to make a call or a decision, we could do so somewhere over the summer. If somebody's got time to do it over the summer,
Sure.
that might be, something we can move on during the course of the summer.
Well, I think part of the purpose of it was just so we could get an understanding of what, if anything, needed to be
In the budget.
replaced and taken care of, and then the budget.
Yeah.
So I think what we did is assumed, I think it was $170,000 a bridge, which kind of like put my mouth in the last meeting. So I believe that was the. The other thing I want to just follow up on, that Sutra Hugs firm, you mentioned there's a gopher tortoise in the firm causing a little bit of problems. Do we want to remove the tortoise? You can do that if you go.
Other one bill, can't touch it.
No, you can definitely remove it as long as you go through the proper protocols to do so.
She's happy what we're doing.
Okay, that's fine, because that would be. Sure, no problem.
Spend thousands of dollars in that.
Completely fine. And then the other thing, I just want to remind everybody that hurricane season is coming, so hurricane preparedness is of the utmost importance. Season starts June 1st, goes all the way through the end of November, so right after Thanksgiving. Just as a reminder, lake levels rise when it rains, and right now they're low. They're gonna come up. Please keep streets and driveways free of yard debris and waste. I know you guys have a great team of landscape folks that come through. If you have that green thumb and just want to trim that branch, put it in the trash receptacle, please don't leave it in the street because it ends up in the storm drain system and can clog your pipes. Other than that, that's all I have.
We will get a hurricane heat blast out sometime, in the early part of June to the community. I've got a list of them I've sent out over the years, but we'll send another one out. I've been reading that this is there's an anomaly going on with regard to hurricanes this year. And Santa Ana and a couple of things on the west coast. And then on Eastern, there's some anomaly going on. So I want to try to include that information in the blast.
Sure.
But basically, huh?
Good or bad?
Oh, well, it's an anomaly. They don't, sometimes they let it
I
decide.
think it's good.
It's an anomaly, going on and, they don't know whether it means more hurricanes or less or whatever, but they wanted to point out that there was something unusual happening. We'll get that out early part of June.
The other thing, Jay, is.
Yeah.
Anna and Brian, we need to get a square footage for all the sidewalks that we own.
Wow.
Because there is a possibility we can use concrete sealer after we do power washing that would extend the in-between power washings to maybe 4 years.
Wow.
Now, I'm gonna show you the pictures today when we talk about the budget. So we need that from Anna so we can get an estimate from a vendor on how much that would cost to put that ceiling down after it's power washed.
Wow.
And I'll have that for you this
So
week.
as soon as she gets, now, we've already kind of plugged in an estimate in the budget for today to cover this. I don't know whether it's gonna be enough, it could be.
Now, is it for all the sidewalks, your 10-foot sidewalk, your stuff on Legacy, everything, the pieces on Wickham, all the stuff through the park?
All the CDD owned sidewalks.
That's all.
You're biannual.
Okay, the only ones that I don't include are the clubhouse areas.
Okay, just so you know, when I start calculating in this way, I set it up because I assumed it was for some budget type purpose. I'm gonna calculate it based on phase and then the width of the sidewalk. If it's in the park in that phase, the sidewalk, if it's Legacy, it just kind of compartmentalize those or separate them, if you will. So if there's an opportunity or requirement to do it sort of all the cart, you're kind of pick and choose that we have it as opposed to one big overall sort of overwhelming square footage.
I'd like to bring up a comment about that yard debris, because I've noticed that because they're not supposed to be in plastic bags, people can't remember, well, what can I put it on in and what can't I? So most people don't put it in anything and they put it by the side of the road. And because it's got the big slab of cement where a drain is, they're thinking, oh, this is really convenient. And so most people put it right there where the drain is, which is to me a problem. I think that maybe through the
It's gonna be
landscape
hard to
committee,
control that. I mean, we can go out with a blast.
just more education and reminders that, plastic tubs are okay to put your debris in.
Yeah, you probably have 10% of the population who do exactly that. And they know better. They just don't want to block their own driveway and they don't want it in front of their house. So they put it over top of the drainage structure and.
I'll bring it up in the meeting.
But for the most part, folks are pretty good. I will say, I think Juniper, they recognize it, if they see it when they go by, they, sometimes.
Understood that this is gonna, with the storm drain system, it's gonna cost us money to clean it out. Hopefully, just education.
Joe, I'll take it up in the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we can get something out of there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
If there's a way to put a, three-liner thing that might be included in a blast, right, something like that.
the other thing is, Anna, you're still working on the separation of the irrigation.
Yeah.
Where are we with that?
So I think you've got the connection out there with Legacy. There's obviously connection, a gate valve connection on the back end of Fifth, or the phase 5, sorry, it's in the name earlier. Phase 5, there has to be an interconnect along that back leg bank, and I have no records of that. So short of going out there and either doing, like, meeting with the irrigation guys and like witching wire it, which is where you literally hold two wires in your hands, I don't know if you're familiar with that term, and you kind of like hold them and they actually cross when you come across a connection. Doing that or having the Juniper like pothole and trying to find an interconnection. I don't know what else to do. I mean, short of digging up that leg bank, I don't know that you want me to do that. I assume that there's some sort of line back there that would have been constructed during the not homeowner, but when they built the houses, as opposed to being done with the heavy construction of the infrastructure for the subdivision itself. So it's not going to be a main line. I would assume it's maybe something smaller, like a 4-inch line that's creating that interconnection that's causing the pump to, it's, I'm going to use the term failing, but what's happening is it's not severing the connection.
And so it's stop.
Excuse me. Not on that, I'm not, if you guys want me to work with Juniper to try to pothole and find it, we can do that. I'm not sure what else to do along this back, between the back of the houses and the lakes.
I'm confused. What are we talking about?
So
Talking about the fact that we have 2 pumps and they're working in a loop.
There was
Means that
irrigation pumps too.
ideally you want to have
Giant loop.
one giant loop, which means there's a
All
hammering
pumps
effect.
need one loop. They fight.
Right, there's a hammering effect on the pipes with that, and it's not really good performance when you got the two pumps in one loop. I'm not an engineer, but logically, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, it's just,
PSIs are different.
it's causing, when one pump system comes on and the other one is seeing or experiencing the pressure drops throughout the system. So the only way to, and what happens is that pump then turns on or off to try and preserve its, for instance, mechanism for maintenance so it doesn't have any kind of degraded effect. And so when it sees these sharp pressure drops, just repeating myself, it'll shut off or pause and delay. And so the Hoover pump system has a monitoring system on it, and you can see it sort of looks like a, looks like an EKG, like you could just sort of watch it bouncing around. And if we were able to sever those two connection points, you would expect to see a reduction in that variation between the two pumps when one is on, one would really be reporting the pressure losses that the other one sees. And so
Disconnected from each other.
yeah, and when you say disconnect, we don't want to truly sever it. We just want to close two valves so that they're still connected in the event that one pump goes down. So that you could open that up and that pump could, maybe not optimally, but it would be able to serve, other reaches of the neighborhood while a pump is being replaced or maintained or whatever. So it wouldn't be perfect, but it should be enough that you don't see the negative effect on the pump. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to artificially decrease the service life of your pumps by having them kind of fight against.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and so we thought this is a year ago, we found there was a valve out in Legacy where the phase 5 construction, or where the Legacy Boulevard construction stopped and where phase 5 and 6 started. So there's a valve right there, closed it, real close to high-fiving ourselves. And then the Hoover guys were like, we're still seeing the connection. So there has to be another backdoor connection on the backside of the clubhouse, which leads into phase 5. The reuse main or the irrigation mainline systems are located there as well. There's another valve in that area. We know that there's a valve there. So short of, you would have to almost close those two valves, but then there's not another way to interconnect and make sure that the northern system is looped and would still function independently.
Sounds like a job for an engineer.
Right, so, but there's gotta be a buried line in there that's connected and teed off.
So why don't we set a meeting, Chris,
Sure,
you and myself,
okay,
and maybe chit chat about this a little bit more in depth.
okay.
So how about, you want me to contact him or you can, whatever you want to do.
Whatever works easiest for you, either way. I'm
I'm
happy,
available anytime, really, but
I'm happy to reach out to him. I mean, could
he's
you,
pretty smart on the infrastructure in the ground.
okay, great.
He's been doing it now for a couple of years in there. So maybe we can, get some information from him. He might be able to figure it out.
Okay, I mean, they have all the reads, I've given them all that. The problem is that is, again, that was the main backbone portion of the system through the subdivision construction. It's not necessarily what's looping and connecting some of these, homeowner lots that are all 1 main feet. I don't have access, and it wasn't constructed when I was that portion.
All right. Okay, I'll set the meeting up.
All right. Any further items?
Not for me.
Thank you. Next, our district manager has got a number of things he wants to cover this morning,
Required.
this afternoon. There.
Yeah, no matter, great. Your annual presentation of your registered voters counts, received from the supervisor of election.
Yep.
It's actually on the screen for everybody.
Yeah, 27.
There.
23.
So as of April 1st, you have 2378, 2,300.
Actually come down.
That's
About 150.
It did.
Over the last couple of years, yeah, it was higher, much higher.
Well, that might be some of your snowbirds. Your quarterly compliance, which is also, stamp of approval there, so just ensures that our website is up to date as needed. We did send out that quarterly newsletter.
We did,
We
certainly
worked
did.
on that together. You wanna brief that for a second?
That was kind of fun. Brian, did a good job putting that together. I came in at the end and kind of just tweaked it and added a little color and some pictures to the newsletter. And, wanted to put some pictures in there. Just I thought it would, you know, create a better receptivity by the reading public. But I think it went out. I haven't heard any response to it, but I was happy about the effort. And it kind of gives us a way to know other things that we want to include and how we go about doing it the next time. And we'll get, I think we'll get better each time we do it. We just, you know, look for opportunities to, what can we add into the newsletter? Each time we put one out, little blurbs about whatever. So glad we got that out.
Agreed, and this is just to reiterate the effort. Residents came in a couple months ago and said, hey, we want more communication.
Right, and we talked about that during the course of our presentation when we did the candidate study. We talked about, we got to improve that.
That's right.
That was a response to improving and on our first shot at it, and we'll either do it and get better at it.
Keep making it better. Me and Joanne have been working on several projects, so shout out to you. Thank you for your assistance. We have a YouTube channel now. Now we're recording, we're posting these on the YouTube channel.
That's good.
Made some enhancements to the websites. You know, obviously we got some live pictures. We added the direct call-in link. So we're learning from the feedback that we're getting and consistently improving, which was in the memo that we put out. Just some of those tools to empower our residents to slowly.
Sure.
Were you able to make it so when they join, you don't have to let them in?
Correct, yes,
Okay.
now it's open. They just come on in.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm gonna come. And then sidewalk repairs, so we proceeded forward with phase 2 of our sidewalk repairs, which covered phases 1 through 4, with the exception of, I believe it was Camberley. Precision did go and make several repairs on Camberley. I am waiting on a completed report of what's been done. And once I get that report, they are also giving me a proposal on whatever's remaining left on Camberley.
How's the pricing on that working out, cut on within our budget, within our focus?
Yes, so it was, whatever we allotted last time, I think we
15.
approved 72, 74.
But then,
Well, so the not to exceed hasn't come into play because we haven't gotten the proposal yet, but within our 74 that we approved, someone, don't quote me. They did several repairs on Camberley because they had left over areas that they could make repairs on within our allotted budget. So once we get the Camberley proposal, we'll bring that before the board and then we can consider, hey, do we want to do that right now? Or do we want to move this into the final phase of the sidewalk repairs, which will cover phases 5 through 8. And
is anything being done about the individual reports of one that might be extremely hazardous?
well, so yeah,
That weren't in those phases, but
so everything that we received before they came out, they did, according to Amanda Henson, who is our point of contact. So verify if there's been anything that.
you should have an address on Quint that was, that's over an inch.
Sure.
And there's a gentleman that basically now walks with prosthetics and he walks around there as his physical therapy. So I'm really concerned. I want to go out and buy orange paint myself and put it on there. It's very scary.
Yeah, that I believe was reported.
It was
should have been-
reported more than a month ago, so
Yeah, it should have been taken care of.
it was not,
It's still there.
I can see it when I drive by, it's so high.
All right.
Thank you.
Quint?
Quint.
What is it, cracked?
Oh, no, it's lifted.
Lifted?
It's lifted. Oh,
How many?
a good inch.
Is there a tree there or?
No, I don't remember seeing any. It's one side of it though.
I'll get with Amanda. All right. But yeah, overall, I've received positive feedback. They completed the current area, just waiting on that final. And I'll present it once we do have it. Nothing else from me.
Good enough, thank you. I know Brian's been really active on a number of projects, getting things done in the community. And thank you for your continued efforts and would acknowledge that. Moving on, business administration. We've got minutes of the previous meeting. I'd like to get a motion to receive the minutes of the last meeting. Would the supervisor want to move on that?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the last meeting.
Move second by Smalley. All in favor, can I get aye?
Substantial, I don't think there's some revisions I need to make.
Yeah, tab 4.
Yeah,
Ratification of O and M over the last, you've gotten, I know everybody's got a copy of the O and M for the last several months, including last month, May. But this is for March. A ratification for approving, move that we approve the ratification of the O and M expenditures for March 2025.
Recommend approval.
Moved by Walters,
Second.
seconded by LeBrecq. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we're gonna, the item, resolution, consideration of resolution.
Hold on 1 second. The April billing, we did the March and April, right?
On this one says March, but we've received April
Okay.
as well as May just the other day.
On page 45.
Yeah.
In the
In
what
what
I did here. For April, I talked to Brian about this. Apparently Juniper had 3 monthly per diem charges in that month. I'm gonna tell them, how can you guys stay in business when you don't bill us? Okay, you can't have $26,772, 3 of those in 1 month.
And it creates $145,000 a month for them.
Right, and it affects our execution, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't accrue for that unless they are. I don't know if they're using the accrual for that, even though they didn't get the bill.
not, well, for
For
the
a big
regular
one, it should be
maintenance,
accrued.
yes. The maintenance that's accrued in our financials, not the little invoices.
Right, so that's an issue that I'm gonna have, you can call, Dave, Thomas. Or Ben, get that straightened out. We want those bills paid for the month that they're due.
No, and we addressed that with them. So our accounting team actually reached out and realized, hey, like, we haven't received 3 months of billing, what's going on? And I believe Susan Chapman was actually in the email and she was able to figure
Yeah,
Get
whatever.
that straightened out.
Yeah, yeah,
She came to our meetings when we were first negotiating with them.
But we're accruing that each month before the month closes.
Yep.
Right? Because we use a modified accrual system.
and what do we do every month with the financials before they go out?
Yeah,
We review it.
thank you on that, Kit.
I look at that stuff
I know you do. I know you do. You're the old budget man, you know, from way back,
way back.
Navy budget man.
Yep,
Lot of dollars there.
easy.
On our business items, we're moving up item number C, consideration of the resolution approving the fiscal year proposed budget. We're moving that up first, and we'll take care of the other items first, afterwards. The budget issue or budget review part is probably tantamount to that number one thing we do yearly. And everybody's getting a copy of the proposed budget. Ken has gone through this with a fine tooth comb. I have gone through it with a fine tooth comb with Brian. And this is the final result of, I know, at least 3 different efforts to fine tune this budget. So over the last month or so,
I didn't get to bring it up.
we've really gone into the budget line items for next year. If you would, take a quick run through it. I believe you all got a copy of this in the information leading up to this meeting so that you'd have a chance to kind of review it and get a handle on what's going forward for next year. Our fiscal budget starts October 1. So October 1 will begin the 25-26 year, budget wise. We've got the tax roll. We're budgeted for a little higher than the actual annual for last year. So we will get an increase of another $103,719 from the tax rolls. If you go through and look through where we took care of the street lights, that's already been handled. Utility services we looked at, the aquatic maintenance, we budgeted for there. Here again, the aquatic maintenance is something that we're obviously concerned about because we talked about it earlier. We did improve on the fountains, and they're now giving color water coming up in the east side of both of the fountains in the front. They look nice. The stormwater system maintenance, that's something we've got to do every year to prepare for hurricane season and to ensure that our stormwater system can carry the water from a hurricane as well as any other major efforts. We've gone through physical environment, taken a good look at that. Landscape maintenance, you see that's we budgeted a little bit more because one, as our community ages, we have to take care of more of these areas that to keep it looking fresh and up to speed.
So that line was in the contract.
Yeah. Pressure washing from the sidewalk, we've increased that a lot because next year is our every other year cleaning that we do with the sidewalks.
Hey, Jay, can I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
These items that Jay's talking about, they tie back to the contracts that we have. There's no margin for error on those. We sat down and went over all the contracts that we have that are existing, so those numbers tie back. They're not guesstimates.
Yeah. We've got sidewalk repair even.
Right, now, this issue that you just brought up about the sidewalk pressure washer. This is a test. A lot of copies, but I want you to look at this photograph here. I'm gonna send it around so you guys can see it. This is a sample, basically in front of my house. That when I had my pavers done last July, the guy from Sunburst who owns the company said, you know, we're involved with putting this concrete ceiling down. So what do you mean by that? He said, well, you know, when you power wash, that's something that you guys should consider. So this picture is a picture of the slab that he put that on after it was power washed. And it's 10 months ago that this was put down.
Okay.
Now,
the seal.
Right, so this is a picture of something that's been there for 10 months as a test. Now, we can look at that. Now, when it rains, this is how it looks.
Whoa,
Okay,
Right.
when it rains, that's how it looks.
That's
wow.
Okay, so it keeps its whiteness.
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
crazy, right?
So,
That's, wow.
so now here, why use concrete sealer on community sidewalks? Concrete sealer is used on community sidewalks to protect the concrete from various damages,
That's amazing.
enhance appearance, and improves it actually improves its durability.
Yeah.
Sealing prevents cracking, scaling, and water damage by creating a protective barrier against moisture, wear, and tear during these harsh environments, which we have a lot of rain down here. Additionally, sealers can basically make the surface easier to clean, okay? Because it has a barrier on it,
Yeah.
right? And improve the color and appearance of the concrete. And could extend the need to power wash possibly to 3 to 4 years.
Wow. Now that would be a safe.
So we're saving like 65,000 right now. We're spending that much, right? How much we spend? For power wash?
The last pressure wash that you did, you spent roughly 55,000.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's something that the board can consider. When put,
Yeah, well, go ahead. I actually looked into this and spent, and talked to a number of different companies, and I came aware of the sealer. I think I worked with Richard Hernandez before you were here, Brian. And Richard and I had a guy coming out and talking to us. Couple of issues I'm going to ask you, because I don't disagree with doing this. I looked into looking for sealers. The problem I came up with, or they said, was there's really no way to do it without, for a period of about 24 hours, blocking traffic. The stuff goes on wet and it needs about 24 hours to dry.
And dry.
right,
And therefore, there's two things with that. One is it makes it more complicated to do it. And like in our parks and our public sidewalks and everything else, you almost can't block them off for 24 hours. without having people go around them and walk through them. I'm just saying,
No, I hear you.
and
Probably
the expense that they were quoting us for doing a large area gets quite large. You know, so I know that on our individual properties, you could do it. I believe my neighbor has done that 2 or 3 years ago, and his pavers remain shiny and bright
Mm-hmm.
forever. But on the other hand, it changed the color, and when he did it, he had to block the sidewalk for 24 hours.
Yeah, that's,
So I'm not against looking into it. I'm
Yeah.
just warning you, it's very expensive when you get down to the nuts and bolts of having to do the procedure. You've got to block the sidewalks off, treat them, and then give them 24 hours. But
well, here's what we are. Once we get the square footage, then we'll get an estimate. If this is cost prohibitive, we can't do it.
Yeah.
well, let alone the
If it's-
blockage. I couldn't.
If it
find-
saves us 2 years,
I don't disagree.
that would
with you.
be, you know,
Yeah,
from a
that's why-
2-year
That's why I
cycle to a
I
4-year
looked at
cycle.
it for the exact same reason. Because that was when Richard and I were trying to do
Yeah.
the power washing and meeting with some people and trying to find it. So I'm more than willing to look at it. I just warn you, the limitation can be that it takes,
Logistics.
it takes a day or two and you've got to block everything off. Nobody can walk on it.
Yeah, we have to
Or
figure that
you
out.
any footsteps.
But again, I was hoping to have that number today, but we didn't have the square footage.
Yeah.
Once I get that, we can get an estimate from Sunburst, on
Um,
what that is, and if it's too cost prohibitive, at the next board meeting, when we ratify the budget, we can take this out, because right now we have a plug figure in there of about what,
20,000.
20,000, so,
Do you have any idea what your house alone cost?
no, the pavers are different than the sidewalk.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
But then to go and coat them afterward.
no, this has nothing to do with the pavers,
Well,
it's only about the sidewalk.
it's coating the side, and that's what I was looking at.
Right, not the paper.
Sidewalks to improve the life. I agree with you.
Right,
I'm
right,
just saying it was quite prohibitive and an individual homeowner can afford to spend $1,000. It looks great. Now multiply that times 1,400 doors
Right.
and you get into kind of a huge
yeah,
number.
well, we're not talking,
Plus parks, plus public sidewalks.
right,
So,
homeowners are not allowed to put any seal on the sidewalks.
They can, but it's gotta be a dull one, not a shiny
I
one.
don't think they can at all.
No, they don't. Well, that's right, on their pavers they can, but not on
On
sidewalks.
the sidewalks, they're not allowed to do that. You know, we did the same for it, just to see how this worked. 10 months, it looks great, right? And when it rains,
it's not slick, is it?
No.
I mean,
no,
Well, then you've got the other issue of driveway apron.
aprons.
Yeah, and if the driveway aprons aren't included in the
Then you're gonna
process, then they, you know, and that's a hiding thing.
I understand that, I'm just saying, we're responsible for the sidewalks.
Yeah, right.
And we're looking at what we can do. And again, if it's too cost prohibitive, it's not gonna happen.
No, I'm all in favor, and we actually spent, this was back with Richard just before he, but, we spent quite a bit of time looking at it, trying to get towards possibly doing it.
Yeah.
I could not really even find contractors that really wanted to take on that big of a
I
project.
don't even know if it's a quick draw, because I watched him put it on there.
Oh,
And
For an
I don't know how
individual-
long it took for it to dry, it might have been a very quick dry process.
for an individual, my neighbor, when he did it on his, and his pavers looked great. And I agree with you, maybe in an overall life, it will work, but please, we need to look
We'll
at
find
it.
out.
I'm just giving you a warning,
We'll find
that
out.
it gets expensive.
It's certainly worth looking into, because that could be a really huge saving
It would be if it worked.
if we could, you know, pick up another year or so.
Well, if, a key question to ask is, can it be done in one application and then they walk away? They don't have to block off. If they have to block off and let it dry, that just about doubles it.
No, just like the grass people, when they put down those little flags to keep, you know, remind people, you know, you hope people would do what's in their best benefit, but we all know that people not necessarily don't think that way.
So it's something to look at.
We're looking at it,
We're looking at it.
We're moving on. Let's take a quick run through as we were going through these items. We got to items, we got the tax roll. We're looking at the sidewalk, the parks. You know, we added money for the bridge maintenance and all of that. Total expenditures basically going up $99,000, and we're getting an additional 103 from the tax rolls. So basically, we got a wash there on the total expenditures versus the income. So we're in good shape.
It's only about a $58 a year increase.
Yeah,
When you look at the numbers here, you know, it's like $5 a month. And we're getting things done here.
exactly.
The other thing is, you know, back in 22, we had a reserve study.
Right.
So I did the calculation on that, and yeah, it's going up for the reserve study for 2026. They're saying it should be close to, well, actually, we're a little bit more. We're at $181 per door, which is just fine. I mean, we're a little bit ahead because we're catching up from the earlier years, which we didn't reserve.
Exactly.
So our reserve amount that we're spending now is trying to catch up with stuff that we probably should have done 15 years ago with reserve. So we're paying back that now. We're finding out the maintenance demand curve now is starting to hit.
Yeah, and as the property ages,
Right.
community ages,
You know, we've got the bridge,
the maintenance goes up.
irrigation, pumps, the controllers. There we go. We're starting to replace controllers.
Yeah.
So we gotta keep that in there. So I think it's a fair budget.
Yeah. I do too.
Fairly accurate. I mean, I think it's a good,
It's about as tight a budget increase that we've done in over the last several years. Realistically, our costs are down,
right,
that we know our increases went down. So I think we're in really good shape. When you look at the average per villa, duplex, single family homes, and you look at our costs going up, they're, you know, villa is 4.08%. You know, 5.6% on a single family, the larger ones, the 70-foot areas. So realistically, our cost structure is within range.
I have a question regarding the different categories of payments. I actually contacted Mr. Hernandez many years ago to ask how they came up with these different pay amounts for different size buildings. Now, I understand about the bonds. I'm talking about the operation and maintenance, you know, part of the assessment. And according to the only thing I could find in the Florida statute stated that it could be appropriated based on the services you receive. Well, when I look at what the CDD owns and what it operates and is in control of, it's the same whether you live in a villa or a duplex or a single family home with different frontage of footage. We all use the sidewalk, the ponds, the pedestrian bridges, legacy, the parks. So I don't know where this comes from other than similar to our other assessments in Heritage Isle. Somebody did it this way to start with and it's been done that way ever since. But I would really like, maybe our legal counsel can show us where we get the authority to charge different amounts to different homeowners based on their type of home, because we all receive the same services and that's all I found. And
It was based on the size of the physical size of the,
I understand that, but the law I said, that I read says on the services you receive, and we all walk on the sidewalks, we all use the pedestrians.
Well,
So
I mean, it's
how does that work?
it's also, you know, you have a larger home. Potentially, you have more people in there. Also, how. Sure.
Rosetta does a study and it can give you information from how Rosetta does it and provides it to us. We accept their analysis of it, but Rosetta is our accounting firm for those types of things. So that's where the information actually starts.
So if we find out that all the homes, this is not the case, but if every home in Heritage Island had 2 occupants and that was it, what are you basing it on then? I'm just really,
I'm just saying the answer you're looking for resides in an accounting function. Not in a legal function, but in an accounting
Right,
function.
I mean, it's based on the potential of the home.
Yeah, but that whole allocation system has been memorialized.
Exactly.
They've been using this since
Yeah,
day one, okay? You can't go back now and change the
Just
way
looking for the
that.
reference, how we
I'm
can
just saying
justify it.
that has been in existence forever.
Exactly, from the very beginning.
Absolutely, from the very beginning. I
Remember,
remember
an allocation,
most
an
things.
an accounting allocation is a judgment kind of decision up front. It's not an exact science, okay? It never was, it never will be. And that's what we've been using since 2004, I guess, right? Is that when it started?
Exactly, 2004, and it's based on, if you look at the first line, the debt service has to do with the bonds.
So I understand that, I'm not talking about the debt service at all, but there's the other component, which I don't understand why is not divided equally.
What, the O&M?
If you can come up with a specific question, and we'd be happy to share it with
I will,
yeah,
that crop,
I'm certainly.
and there may or may not be an answer to
I
that.
will come up with a question.
There may or may not be an exact answer to that. You have to be prepared for that.
That's
There
all.
may be not an exact answer.
One that I can
The
tell.
answer may actually be, it is what it is.
I don't think that's a good answer to.
I don't say it's a good answer. No, I'm saying the answer may be.
Yeah,
It's been memorialized.
that, well,
That has been used for, I mean, I wasn't here in 2004, I know Jay may have been.
I don't know, I was 2009.
Okay, well,
that.
it'd be hard to
I've
change
asked,
that.
I've asked since then.
Well, I don't know about change, but it's just part of the origination, right? Like every CDD that I manage has this breakdown. It's just for lots.
It's been done the same over all the CDDs in Florida.
I mean, I get your point, but
It's
this.
tied to the bond.
Yeah,
I understand that part, I'm only after the O and M portion.
It's tied to the bond documentation. I mean, so it follows the same financial structure.
If everything was paid off, and the only thing we're collecting money for, if it was, the only thing we would be collecting money for would be the operation of the CBD and the maintenance of everything that we own. And
Well, I mean, same thing on your taxes then, right? Like, as a payer, like, why do I pay more taxes?
I have a larger piece of property. It's
There's
based
only
on,
two people living in now. Right? So the same thing here. So you've got townhomes, you've got.
but like I said, I'll present the question and I'm sure you can find a good
Yeah,
answer for me.
if you want to email me a specific question.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, let's move on. We've gone through all the various items of the budget. Are there any questions, since everybody's had a chance to review these numbers prior to the meeting? Are there any other specific areas or questions of what we have here as our proposed budget? This is our proposed. We ratified the budget in August after time for deliberation throughout the summer or any intake of any questions with regard to issues. We will ratify in August. That is an expectation. That's what we do between now and then. Yes, Brian.
last comments, so we did our, annual financial audit, but the board requested an operational audit.
Yeah.
So myself and Ken, actually, to his point, we went through every contract on file that you currently have active. Tracked when those expire, what the costs are. That way, that's why this budget is so prepared in terms of increases and mitigating the increase in exams. So just want to let the board know that the operational audit has been fulfilled as of now.
Thank you.
Well, that's part of it. So.
If you'd like
I was
to
gonna
add.
talk about that a little later on that agenda item, about the audit report we got from McDermott.
Yeah, McDermott's,
Because that is addressed in that audit report
exactly.
about the internal controls, which is different than putting the budget together. Different things.
What are you looking for in the operational audit? Because when we spoke, it was an understanding you wanted to know operationally, all the vendors that are performing to the district and to ensure that we're being
An
billed.
operational audit is different than a regular audit. Okay, a regular audit looks at your books.
Right.
Making sure that the numbers that are on the financial statements at the end of the fiscal year or calendar year are correct. And an auditor can give a clean opinion on that. That's what that is. An operational audit is to check the, your process for handling financial transactions through the course of the year. That normally is used to see if there's any fraud, detect any fraud or any embezzlement of funds and that kind of thing. That's what an
Okay.
operational audit is. Two different things, okay? Now, they did address it in that report,
Right.
that they did take a look at some of the internal controls, but the report that they provided us said that they did not give an opinion on the internal controls within Rosetta. That was not the focus of that financial report that they gave. So there's two different things.
Okay, so and
I
as,
mean, I'm okay with the report the way it was written, because they at least touched on it.
sure.
And if there was something out of order or impropriety, or
Correct.
they sensed some malfeasance or theft or embezzlement, I'm sure they would have stopped everything and said, hey, we got a problem here.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, we would.
They
And
would
they've
have
been,
brought
they've been doing our books for years.
right, but
You know, it's a firm that we have, you know, very good confidence in.
So you're saying in the future, you'd like more of,
well, I'm just saying, it's a trust and verify thing. Because they're
exactly,
handling our finances,
right,
and I'm sure that everything's been above board. But you read about these catastrophes in each place where people embezzle money,
We've
they
had
deals.
CDDs go out of business.
Right,
so you
So,
want to
and
make sure
doing entire developments.
that we got correctly the way it's
it's not
going.
just correctly, it's being handled correctly.
Yeah,
When somebody doesn't have a hand in the till,
right,
I'm not insinuating that they do,
Sure.
but some organizations have what they call an operational audit. Go along with a regular financial audit.
sounds like a good idea.
That's what companies do, right?
Can we look into an operational audit?
Well, that's
And,
what I need clarity.
and there's gotta be an additional cost involved in that, because if we decide to go that route, we've gotta build that into the budget for next year. And perhaps we can add one every 2 or 3 years, we add the operational audit to.
I think what we need to do is, I don't think we should address it for this budget. I think we should figure out if we want to put it in for 27.
Yeah, oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Between now and then, it's something we can look at adding into the following year's budget. I agree.
Yeah, it's too late for that for this.
Sure.
And I read the whole audit report we got from McDermott. I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
But as a board and fiduciaries, we gotta make sure that everything's above board.
yeah. That's
Because
our job.
we're handling taxpayer money.
It is a good thing to do as a board like we are, with fiduciary responsibility for a company. To every few years, I wouldn't do it every year.
No.
And I would almost do it also as it's almost a surprise from us that we have somebody conduct an audit just to see how everything's going, because I have worked in companies, I've had companies where we've had financial fraud.
Yeah.
I had a bookkeeper take me for many thousands of dollars
See,
on my, petty cash account. And, you know, I mean, so I know it
It's a place
happens.
to do it.
It is good to have it looked at. The normal audit you do.
And that may need to be a different company than McDermott.
could be. It probably should be.
That might make more sense to
Well,
go
it
with a
sounds
different
like
company.
you would wanna audit Rosetta, and so I need clarity because I thought this was fulfilled, we've been talking about this for a while. So if it's not fulfilled, I need to understand exactly what it is, and it sounds like you wanna hire a third-party company to audit Rosetta directly, that's what it sounds like.
Well, we want to make sure that everything, all the transactions have been handled correctly.
And in our process, so the feedback would be the financial statements that you get back on a regular basis. That is technically a form of an operational audit, and what we're doing on a monthly basis to ensure that things are being allocated properly, that is representation of an operational audit. So Rosetta, because I've already asked this from Rosetta's point, and they pointed me to the financial statements and the annual requirements that we fulfill on a regular basis, you know, with the accounting. So I don't know if we will be able to do anything in addition to what we have done. It, like I said, it sounds like you want to hire a third-party company who potentially audits
Well,
other.
it has to do with the CDD chart of accounts and how the financial transactions are being handled by Rosetta on our
Right.
behalf.
Yeah.
Right, that's
And
what
that's
we're
what I
looking
mean.
at.
So we can't, we can't audit ourselves.
No.
Because we've already.
We have to go a third party.
Right.
And follow your trail.
Which typically your financial auditors, that's what they're doing to ensure that we're in compliance with the operational audit, because if the financial auditors found any shady business going on, they would be able to bring back something to the board per required by Florida statute that we have to present to say, hey, something's wrong here.
Well,
And
we're what I'm trying to also say is that when they do an opinion on those financial statements, there's no mention in this opinion about internal controls, other than a couple of sentences that they reviewed those up front, okay, but I don't know what they reviewed. I'm just trying to, we have to do our due diligence as a board.
No, but I hear you.
It
Okay,
appears to be correct.
right,
Sure, because that's what an auditor's job is. But I had companies with audit statements and they didn't see it. They did not pick up activities like that. And we really don't have any good way. One of my frustrations, and I've had it, and we were just talked about it earlier, Brian, was that the way we get our books, and you mentioned today, they had 1 3-month period, 1 month period where it had 3 separate billings for the lawn maintenance. And I made a mention, a couple of months ago at our previous one where you had, to me, 2 identical invoices side by side that were both paid. And I had no way of telling whether there was a difference. Now, I think what those were invoices for quarterly fees paid for looking at our web account.
Mhm.
And they just had 2 of them in the same month. Which
It
is
was a
why,
typo. Thank you for bringing that up. I had spoken to you real quick in between our comments here. And so we did verify it. And to your point, if you ever needed to verify whether we were being billed or not, the monthly financials that we sent out, they would add up, right? So to your point, you would see an additional $360 variance in that specific line item to show like, okay, hey, we were double billed here. But I was able to verify it was actually a typo on the company's School Now's side. They just sent, a duplicate invoice. Not a duplicate, but one of the invoices was labeled the same month as the other one. I think it was February.
and that's all you're looking for when you're trying to find it is we're really talking about accounting practices that don't necessarily provide very good information. And I find that what we get on these operational and maintenance listings is difficult for us to review and see, looking for something that's wrong. Nor do I think there is anything wrong. But
if we did it, I would expect to have a.
it would be somebody with at least have an opinion of the way Rosetta is doing and saying within reasonable, yes,
I say we should probably look at this next year
I agree.
and get our act together on what we want
We've lived with it for a long
a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I will wait for you for further direction on this. I'm gonna promise it off the list. When you're ready to open this back up, let me know.
We'll keep it on the back burner
Yeah,
for now,
back burner,
back burner, okay?
back burner.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
now,
what you know, Jay,
Thank you.
Did you want to go over the reserves?
reserves, yeah, let's take a quick.
Because the O and M piece really is
That's the key.
straightforward. Most of those dollars are tied to, the contracts that we have.
And these are in preparation to make sure that we can handle certain things going forward, should they pop up.
The reserve are where we're having the changes. The irrigation pump station reserve, you gotta keep that at 35,000, so we're building up cash in our reserve accounts for this, and we've had this now for 3 years, we've put money in here.
Yeah.
The irrigation repair controller replacement reserve, okay, we are now replacing controllers.
Yeah, all over the place.
I think we've done 5 already
Yeah.
last year. And I've got one now coming your way for phase 2.
They're roughly what, 10 to 12,000?
Yeah. A pop. So we probably got enough for 4 every year. So we're taking the worst offline. We have the one in phase 2 that got destroyed by the ants.
Yeah,
Even though they're putting poison down behind, where the controller sits. But there's no faith for that, so we got another replacement on phase 2 for control. You'll be seeing the proposal for that. We have to pay for that. So it's good that we start reserving this money. The next line is irrigation repairs. This is the overhaul I talked about earlier. We want to start saving money for wire repair for common area when we need it. Tree replacement reserve. Now, John, I know this is your favorite subject.
I have decided to give up.
You give up?
no, John,
And it's been, I came on the board originally in and wanted this, and all I wanted was where the hurricane had taken down trees in the parks, not on Legacy. There were now, they were just closed out and sodded over.
Right.
And that was 10 years ago almost.
Was that really?
It's 10 years long that I came in before the board, I wasn't on the board. And I requested that the 6 trees in the park would be replaced because they took 20 years to grow. There's some beautiful oak trees in our park. And I wanted to replace them and start a new one. And 10 years ago, if they would have been pretty nice now. Now we still got open space.
Okay, well,
So,
then I would say,
but I
But I thought we built that into the.
well, we did 2 or 3 times and but we go through, contractors and landscape contractors. We have, hurricanes, we have droughts, we have this, we have that, we have this, we have that. And bottom of the list, to replace some trees.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
doesn't happen.
So,
Okay,
so I'm,
do you want to revive this or what do you want to do?
I don't know. I
Well,
was
he's not
doing
gonna
nothing
take it.
more than there were 6 spots.
You want it?
I'd like to keep it in there that
I'm gonna keep
I
it.
consider a smaller good memorial replacement.
If he's gonna give it up, I'm gonna take it, because at the pond at the end of Quint, between Quint and Balboa, that's the only place I can find in this community that doesn't have a single shrub, a single tree, or anything. For the longest time, it didn't have a sidewalk.
Where's this?
That's where you connect on Camberley. If you go Camberley and you're going between Quint and Balboa, the end of the pond. It's like a dog poop station because there's nothing there, so people walk their dogs.
Oh, you mean this is down by the pond?
Like the whole end, there's not a tree, there's not a shrub, there's not a bush. And I can tell you, if you live on Quint and somebody comes from Balboa and turns to go down Camberley, their headlights go down every single row of houses.
I know what you're talking about now.
Because there's nothing to stop it until that car gets straight. So I'll take a couple of his trees and bushes.
Okay. We're going,
Anyway, we have,
I think it's a smaller good memorial
okay.
tree replacement reserve.
I'm just saying, I have no idea how to get this done. I've talked about it, but sort of planned it myself.
Why don't we have a specific request to Juniper to put some trees somewhere and give us
Juniper.
they got $15,000.
Yes.
We want some trees.
Okay.
Mix them up.
Actually-
A couple where Joanne's talking, and a few more over where John's talking.
And
Hold it, time out. Let's set the record straight. They did plant 18 trees
Yes,
in here.
Okay,
They were elms.
Yeah.
In various locations in different phases.
yes,
They did put 18 trees in.
They sawed down my
Okay.
neighbor's oak tree and planted one of those
They planted one.
Chinese elms in that spot.
Right. Okay,
And
they did plant 18
They
trees.
missed.
So we have consumed some of these dollars.
okay.
Okay. We should probably look at some more trees going in. Okay, I
Right.
don't have a problem with that, all right? That place you're talking about needs something.
yeah,
It's completely bare back there,
completely.
okay?
Yes,
So I think you might wanna, I can work with Brian. If you feed him information and I can work with Juniper.
You got
I want him to work with me specifically,
yeah,
okay?
I want you to work with
Two,
them specifically.
two for Joanne's area, 4 or 5 for John's area. They got 15,000 and we want it done starting in October, right?
Whenever I can get it done.
Whenever.
Right. So you need to tell Brian the area,
I got pictures.
cause I can't pick the phone and call you.
Give it to Brian.
If I could, I would, but you're gonna have to tell him.
again, that's
Give it to Brian.
that's a photo view.
Give it,
We'll give it to Brian.
I'll come get it.
Should you do all for that, you get it scheduled.
yeah.
It's just a method view I pretty quick with where the trees are. missing.
We can make that happen.
Oh, that's the big.
And copy, me and Ken.
Doesn't come up very well.
We get the-
Looking at a lousy map, and I had heard it one time, they had a better map of the original.
They did at some point because we got copies.
Right.
Somewhere in the files, we got copies of it.
So the only thing I would put back, and you know this, but I would say for the betterment of the group, in some of those parks, There were cypress trees planted, they came down because they were estimating the drainage system and the drainage. So when we're looking at planting trees, if we could take into consideration the size, the type, the location of sidewalks, irrigation systems and drainage structures, so that we don't cause unknowingly causing additional harm in the future.
Speaking of, I almost hate to say this, but I spoke to Chris and I said, I walked over at that property and I tried my hardest to find a sprinkler head. I don't even think they put sprinklers in over there on that whole end.
I don't know, I'll send your requirements to
They're not-
Brian,
Yeah,
on what you'd like to see happen, and then I'll work with Juniper to see what we can do,
Thank you.
okay?
thank you.
Is that good? John?
I'm fine.
What'd you find, John?
I've noticed the trees are growing up to the point where I don't even remember where they used to be.
Wow,
I wouldn't doubt.
I can still find them for you.
okay,
But
Okay,
a scrawny little.
all right, we're wrapping up
Okay.
on expenditures here.
wait a minute, okay. The other thing is, as you notice in here in the reserves, that FPL one-time payment was taken out.
Exactly, taken care of.
Of course, you know, other increases over here kind of wiped that savings out. The sidewalk reserve, that's part of the, it's something that Brian's working on, right?
Correct, yeah, we will be in our final phase of repairs next year. Remember, we spread this out for 3 years.
Yeah,
This is year 2. Next year, we should, have enough in what we have budgeted for the final phase.
And so then we got the infrastructure money, we're using, a lot of that money is being used for the bulldozers.
yeah,
And then, of course, the pedestrian bridge reserve, we increased that to 57,000. Because we don't have the estimate other than 170,000. Whatever Bond finds out, that will drive, but we got it in the budget. So that's a 3-year payback for this. Because we're gonna take the 170 out of reserves,
right.
but we have to pay it back in 3 years. That's what this is,
We're taking 113 out of it.
113,000, right, with this. So that's kind of a recap on the reserves. That's where the major changes were.
We have really thought this through, and thank you, Ken, for your efforts here, and Brian as well. We have prepared a budget that does not go beyond the means of our community, with an average increase of around 5% over this current year. A 5% increase is like buckus in this raging, crazy, carrot-laden expense here. So we're doing darn good to be able to keep our increase down at a 5% level. That's an amazing job.
The last several years, we've really had a lot of surprising increases, like the streetlights.
Yeah.
Things like that happened that we're not really prepared for because Lennar never had to worry about it.
Right.
They always knew they were gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So we've been hit with a lot of those and we've done a good
And we
job.
pre-planned and budgeted out to make sure that it has had the least disruptive effect on the residents. So I'm looking for a proposed budget motion that says, let's move forward with this proposed budget for the course of next year. Can I get a motion? Motion by Small,
I'll second.
second by Walker and LeBrecq.
Joe.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All portioning, said aye. That proposed budget is passed. And, thank you for that. Thank you for beating it up and, going through the details so we all are comfortable with where it stands. Now, on to other ratifications. Dakota replacement proposal. Do we have that, Brian?
We do, did that make the agenda?
Yeah, it said in that. It's the first item in the ratification of District Guide
Tab 6.
tabs.
There we go. So if you look at
Okay.
the screen,
Yep, I signed that already.
yep. The ratification items, these were the items in between meetings that myself and the chair have been working on for the needed operational.
These are items to
requirements.
keep the home fires burning.
That's it, exactly.
I signed them during the course of, between meetings so that we can ratify them at the current meeting. These are items that have been taken care of through the course of operations. Between Brian and I, we follow up. Ken's make sure that the Juniper people sends us a proposal. He signs off on it, sends it to Brian. Brian gives it to me. I sign it, send it back. Everybody's okay. Aquagenics, a number of other people, these are all the items that have been ratified and signed off on during the course of the last couple of months. Signed off by me. I'm looking for a motion to ratify all district items that have been taken care of during the course of the last couple of months. Can I get a motion on the ratification?
So moved.
So moved by LeBrecq. Seconded by Walters. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Can I make a quick comment on that Drew's one? They
Sure.
haven't get the title of our community correct.
Yeah.
They have emphasis on heritage and Isle.
Oh, we don't need this.
On either one, you know, not Tampa. Just thought I'd point it out.
For Chris Drews, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, what we need to also be cognizant of is we don't wanna be stuck with just one landscaper,
Right.
especially for small jobs.
Right.
Okay, so we need to keep Chris Drews in our business plan.
He comes in here and takes care of quick things.
Right, now, you know, the pricing sometimes may be a little bit more, not much, but I'll be able to get it done quicker.
Yeah.
Okay, Juniper, you know, they take time to get things done, sometimes not to my liking, and I let them know. So when it comes to the legacy, I gotta get it done. I don't want excuses, you know, next week or the week after that. So I'm trying to get them understanding, that's why he said Friday. He said Friday? You know where I'm gonna be?
Friday.
Friday. It better get done, okay? We have to keep it looking sharp, so that's why we're having Chris, that augment where we need it.
Especially big items, I mean, coming in, and pulling out a couple of trees and things like that. The guy can just pop in here, grab them that day, you know, he's got a nice crew, cause he's done some work for
Well, he
me.
did the one in the
Maybe
park.
the district will consider it for their street trees.
They need to do something, but I'm only focusing on PD here.
Yeah.
So that, we have to have the two vendors in here because speed and the cost, okay, and they're competitive. They know that one's gonna be looked at, the other one.
I'm just saying at your joint meeting, you might want to mention that company to, you know,
Yeah. That's
Do that
for that meeting.
for Joe.
Anyway,
We've got everything covered on this budget. Anything else, pal, that we've gotta get done?
No, budget's good.
every draft, right?
We'll just have to do that on the back end. It was when Joe got voted in, we never brought.
Yeah,
the
we've gotta do this. What is it? So, all of you are, in addition to being supervisors, you're assistant secretaries. We also have, outside of here, other people involved. Melissa Dobbins, who was his boss, she was our first, Brian, and, as well as other people that are Rosetta people that are part of our management group. There's a resolution here. Can I get a motion to approve?
One of my
You're approving this, motion.
It's redesignating officers. When Joanne LeBrecq joined the,
we forgot to
board,
do that.
We forgot to bring this.
Oh, we
resolution.
did?
Did we sign this? So we give it back to you?
No, that's just an extra copy. On the back end, we're just bringing it up. So
Okay, he's properly moved. Got a second? Been properly seconded by Smalley. All in favor, say aye. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Rosetta has more votes than we do.
Hey,
we have no, we have
they
absolutely.
don't have any votes.
Okay.
But
Okay,
they don't have votes, they just have responsibility.
That's it.
you need to have the right here, dictionary for spell checking purposes.
Geo needs to add.
Everybody got it? It's missing a C.
I signed this one and
I'll make the typo.
you'll get this copy here
Yes.
and you'll bring me the other things that I need to sign.
Push on the capital B, that part's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, any supervisor request or no comments?
Yeah,
Comment, go ahead.
on anything, is that what you're asking?
Anything
Oh, okay,
in the meeting?
all right. Well, earlier Brian brought up the fact that he has created the YouTube site so that people can watch this when they're not able to watch it live. And he had to create an email address in order to accomplish that. So I would like the board to consider publicizing that email address and having it forwarded to all the supervisors. It's very similar to what's done in some of our other associations, because we're working with seniors and they don't necessarily know how to copy and paste everybody's email address to put it into an email. And to be honest, I'm a little concerned when I have different residents come up to me and say, you know, I emailed the CDD about X, Y, or Z. And I have no idea that they emailed Brian. I have no idea what kind of response they got from Brian, so I'm totally caught off guard. Now, it would be up to the resident to use the email address, but if they want to say, hey, I not only want to report this to the management company, but I want all the supervisors to be aware of it, I think we should give them an easy way to do that. And it's probably very simple to just have it forwarded, like, I know Gmail, it does, I don't know what kind of email address you.
That would be having all of us get a copy of everything that goes
No.
in, or everybody
No,
writing, or what?
no, it would only be available to those residents that want to have all the supervisors included in their correspondence. They could use this one email address.
That's so much like the associations, and I don't want us to look like the association in our operations.
I want to
I
make
want
it
them
easy.
to clearly get a definition, a definitive difference between us and their other organizations.
Well, I don't think that having an email address would.
Well, no, that's what they do. They send stuff out to everybody.
Well, how do you account for the fact that, like I said, at some point in time, we evaluate the job that Rosetta does. How would I know what kind of job he does if I don't know what kind of responses he gives to our constituents, to the members? I don't know.
But
And-
residents typically will CC like board members when they email me first.
Yeah.
Then-
They come up to me in the hallroom and go, I wrote, this is what I said. I'm just saying, it's hard enough to get people to go to a website. Now you're asking them to go to the website, find the email address, just copy them, paste them. I just don't understand why there would be an objection to making it easier for the residents to reach. It's not an automatic thing. You're not gonna get every email written to Brian. But if the person wants to keep the board informed, and if you don't want to look at it, that's up to you, but at least we would have the opportunity to see those emails. I've had 3 people come up to me in the last month with situations they wrote to the CDD about. I didn't know they did. Had no idea. And then they sent me the responses they got, so then I got to see it, but only because they chose to do so.
I would say, listing the individual emails on the website, for each board member is fine. I do have some concerns if every board member has access to one centralized email, that there's a potential for some kind of violation in there.
Exactly. That's
We
the
weren't
sunshine law.
responding with it, we're just receiving.
No,
This is forwarding.
If
No.
you're,
I wouldn't have access to it.
gotcha.
I can't access it.
So you're talking about a forwarding email where it would go to here and then that email would automatically forward.
It's not for me to use to contact them. It's only for the residents.
Sure.
It would be inappropriate for me to use it, the same as it would be for me to go to their homes and talk to them. Okay, so I can't use it, but the residents can.
No, I'm just trying to get the mechanics behind it.
Yeah, I'm just
If
making
we're-
it clear.
Okay, yeah, if we're talking about a centralized email where, you can log into it, you can log into it, you can log into it.
Nope,
No, we don't want to.
No.
Yeah, that would, if you're talking about a centralized email that is automatically, forwarded on to a series of.
Exactly.
That would probably be fine,
Thank you.
yes.
The only issue that you would run, you would have to consider a cost, because then you would want to have essentially like an amenity service where somebody would be filtering out specific emails to try to distribute it to the board at that point.
Yeah.
Transparently, I wouldn't be able to do
This
it.
is just, this is just, I remember, like, if I was the resident right now and I wrote to you, maybe I've written to you before. Maybe I didn't get a response. At this time, I want to write again, and I'm gonna use that email that I know everyone here will get a copy. It's not anything that any supervisor would be able to go into and use or send anything out. It's
No, I know that.
Forwarding, and it has to be the choice of the person writing the email to consciously say, I want all the supervisors to see what I'm writing. And the only difference is, they don't have to go copy and paste his email, my email, his email, his email.
No, if they want to get through, let them do the work. Let them do the work.
The point being,
Let 'em
and
do
I'm
the
being
work.
transparent with you, I'm a portfolio manager, I have 10 communities, you multiply 1,600
do the work.
by that. That is an extra task that you would have to pay for, because
Let 'em
we would
do
have
the
to
work.
hire somebody
They wanna do that.
specifically to oversee this process that you would like to create.
Yeah,
Gee,
let them do the work.
automatic, just say there's no process.
No,
Right.
let them do the work if they want to do all that.
I
Let them do
wrote
the
the
work.
idea, because I thought it was a good idea. If no one else thinks it's a good idea, that's fine.
You've had great ideas, I'm just letting you know, this one would cause a workload, so it's not that I'm
Yeah.
against it, as long as you're willing to, consider a proposal, I don't think we would have an issue with presenting it. We would just need somebody to oversee.
Yeah, we're going to do the work to manage.
Correct.
It's all automatic, there is no managing, you create it and you forward it and you're done.
But somebody would have to even create the rhythm there once, right? And then if you want to make modifications, ideally, creating an email and setting up a YouTube, low maintenance. But having to do anything to that email inside that email, that's something additional. And again, you multiply that across a 10 portfolio district, that's difficult, and I'm just being
Get back to you on
transparent with you. If I could do it easily, I would do it, I promise.
Maybe I can explain it better at a later date and then you
Okay.
can decide
And I'm
after
open.
that.
I'm open to conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Any further comments?
Well, we have one resolution we have
Yeah.
to touch,
Well,
Public hearing.
The
Of-
sidewalk.
public
the sidewalks. That's,
For the golf carts?
the golf.
oh, yes.
The whole shebang.
Okay, we got an email from,
Paul Green's.
Paul Green's good points he made in his email. We will take those into account and accordingly adjust our languaging to make sure that, well, first of all, if you got a handicap where you gotta use the items that he was talking about, you're automatically included in being able to use the sidewalks. Automatically, because handicap things says you automatically can use it, so it doesn't have to be written specifically to say, if you're handicapped, yes, you can do X, Y, and Z. We want to shorten the language so it becomes something that can go on a sign. And we can't put all that verbiage on a sign. We've got to be able to say, no scooters. I've been seeing kids, I was yelling at a bunch of kids over the course of the weekend, believe it or not, twice. Running in here with them little scooters and their little fishing rods because they were fishing at the back end or the north end of the property over there by Fran Jameson. They come over here from the other nearby neighborhoods, and they like to come in here, just running up and down our streets, and they're playing and having fun. And I'm like, going, get your,
There's a problem with this, though. I mean, granted, we're in a gated community and granted the CDD owns the sidewalks. However, it's probably a good idea to look at the Florida statutes and
We
the
have.
ordinance. Then you would see that it is illegal for those things you're not allowing on the sidewalk to be on the street. So now where do they go? It's illegal for anyone on a scooter, roller skates, etc., to be on the streets. I can read it verbatim.
Somehow that tells them don't come in our community. How about that? How about that? That actually provides us a way to say, don't come in here legally according to the statutes.
Pedestrians and disabled and handicapped
They can all walk on the sidewalk.
only.
We want them on the sidewalk walking. But we had a resident over 2 years ago,
Exactly who you're talking about.
the guy got hit.
Yes, and the person driving the golf cart was illegal. He did not give way to the pedestrian, obviously, if he hit him. But I'm saying that we have laws in place. And to create our own unique ones makes no sense to me when we can always fall back on the laws of Brevard and the state of Florida rather than trying to fall back on laws that we made up.
But we're trying to protect our elderly residents who are walking. And when people come in here and ride their golf carts on the sidewalk or scooters riding up on the sidewalk, frankly, we're trying to protect our residents.
And you're good with the golf carts, because all you need to do, the laws require that you designate it. So if you're not designating it, then it's not allowed. That's simple. But some of these other things, like a bicycle, I'd rather have that senior on a bicycle if that's where he feels safe, or if it's out there on the street
That bike,
with some of
that
those.
bike belongs on the street. That bike belongs on the street.
Why?
I've seen a lady riding a tricycle on the street. I've seen that, but I've seen people walking in the street too, which confounds me if there's
Exactly.
safe on a sidewalk.
There are rules for using the street. There's rules for pedestrians on the sidewalk.
What we're saying-
Rules for all of it, and I don't see why we would create our own and try to teach them.
What we're doing is for our community to protect, based on how we've seen over the years, people utilize our sidewalks, which we're legally responsible for. And yes, as Paul wrote in his memo, if you have been told, don't use your golf cart on the sidewalk, and you hit somebody, we're gonna say, we're not responsible, that the person can sue the person who hit them with that golf cart. And that to provide legal cover for us.
The golf carts, I understand, because you get to designate.
Golf carts,
I'm talking about all the
bicycle,
other items.
whatever, if it hurts a resident, we want them to get sued, not us.
I'm discussing all the other items you're prohibiting from a sidewalk that is, as soon as we leave Heritage Isle, they're allowed on the sidewalk.
That's outside of Heritage Isle. We're talking about only the responsibility on us, which is inside of Heritage Isle. That's what we're doing.
So usually there's a hierarchy, and I know it doesn't.
We are the hierarchy.
I know it doesn't.
We
pertain
are
to
the hierarchy.
Jay, I understand. What you're really saying is we are making a legal statement that said we of the board of the CBD do not want people with bikes or golf carts riding on the sidewalks in our parks. And that's it.
That's what we're
Because
doing.
we have what? Because we have no enforcement capability.
Exactly.
We have nothing we can do except to post a sign saying the CDD does not want you riding bikes, scooters and golf
Golf
carts
carts on our
on
sidewalk,
our sidewalks and through our parks.
or on our bridges even.
And then it's really almost a period, because at that point, we're stuck. We can't enforce it, we can't do anything about it, but we made a legal statement.
We made a legal statement to protect us legally. Because if somebody gets hurt on those sidewalks by doing that, we removing the legality off of us and putting it onto where it should be, the person who's riding that vehicle improperly.
Which is where it belongs when they operate improperly.
But we're making it very clear.
I hope you're gonna reconsider the signs that you proposed.
We've,
The signs,
They're ready to go in.
they're ready to go.
the signs that say no cars, no scooters,
Yep.
no road, no everything. But
No,
they
no,
like to
to me,
say that I cannot drive my car on the sidewalk. Am I correct?
But
Because you can't have any golf cart, you can't have rollerblades, you can't have a scooter, you can't have bicycle.
I think that would be.
It would be- we would-
You might.
we know it would be imbecilic for somebody to think that they could drive their car on the sidewalk.
I just wish that we had reconsidered if you're making this rule that it said pedestrian and handicap apparatus only. That sounds like it makes more sense. And also, it's not gonna be a great big sign.
Joe, that's a good, could you write that out for us? That's shorter than.
Well, we already created the signs, that's.
That's true, we've already made the sign.
We bought them.
And but you know what? It's gonna be worse if you put them up because they're huge and somebody's gonna have the reaction I had. Oh, I can put my boat on the sidewalk. Oh, I can put my car on the sidewalk.
That would be imbecilic, we know that.
We know that, but I'm just saying, writing this time, they may feel was the same way, because pedestrians and handicapped is really what you're trying to do.
I think it would be a lot less of like somebody trying to put a boat on it than you would, I think the sign.
It was this big, right?
See,
This is a subjective, I mean, objectively, I don't think they're ugly. I wanna say you spent around 3,500 without install.
yeah. We printed them,
That's pretty
we've
good.
done. They're ready to go.
They're big, they have our logo. We did review it for several months. It's not like we just approved the
We
free.
did it over the course of at least 2 or 3 meetings.
Yeah,
I don't believe it.
This is our fourth.
After they were done. I on your
you
minute.
know, we reviewed, so obviously we were working with the artwork, in between meetings.
Yeah.
With Jay, so, and then we obviously brought it for
To the meeting.
consideration to the meeting before it got approved. And I think we did, 2 revisions.
Sure did.
Before we approved the final.
Yep.
So it wasn't without effort that we, considered the sign.
And we spent a couple of years really reworking that whole.
It was 1.5 years for us to get the current signs that we have now. Really, what we're just trying to do is make it official in our rules, which council's taking notes.
Right.
He's gonna make it official on what it is that you want, so that whenever a resident wants to question like, hey, what are the requirements, we can point them to.
Yeah, point them to our legal guys.
And at that point, we can maybe add language of no vehicle, no boat.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this public hearing is for, is to, that technically, we don't need a public hearing to make these changes. I think it was a courtesy to the community to
Exactly.
put that notice out there and advertise it.
And with an appropriate e-blast that we send out, once we start to put them up, we will put an e-blast with great detail explaining everything in the course of our meeting with regard to what it really means, so that everybody will get it in the community.
Mr. Greenest wants this to be read into the record. His email,
The whole thing?
that's what it says in here.
He would like to have it
Do you want
read.
a second one also?
We will, I'll just say, why don't we include the comments of Mr. Greenest in the course of our minutes of the meeting?
We can add it as an exhibit to the
Add
agenda.
an exhibit to the
Okay.
agenda,
Yeah.
and so that his word will be included in the course of our discussion on this.
Yeah,
Okay, I see.
Thank you all for coming.
we'll see you. You know, he does make a recommendation here that the sign should simply say that caution, pedestrians have the right of way and all others must safely yield to them.
That's the law.
But yielding doesn't say, don't come on them. In other words, you got a golf
Right.
cart, you gotta yield.
Right.
No, you don't, we don't even want you on there. Get in the street.
We don't want them on there to begin with. It's too dangerous.
Right.
That's kind of what we concluded
And I've
meetings ago.
seen people run off the sidewalk by these golf carts. I mean, it's, you know.
If you check the statistics, you're gonna find that there have been an extremely increase of pedestrians on streets, whether it be bicycle or walking, the incidence of injury has increased enormously. And
Wow. Because pedestrians are on the street.
because we're putting the bicycles and enforcing them onto the streets, that's where they have the vehicular incidences, where they're getting injured. Sidewalk is the safest place, especially in the senior community, to be. But, you know, the vote is the vote, whichever way it goes.
Yeah, we want to protect people. Yes.
Just for the record, you're gonna have to take a motion to open the public hearing.
I need a motion to open the public hearing so that we can incorporate our discussion here inside the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, so move seconded, all in favor, aye. Okay, thank you. Now the public hearing is open for discussion of what is inclusive of our golf cart / other vehicles on our sidewalks. Discussion includes those things that should be included with regard to what that we're prohibiting onto the sidewalks as a protective measure to save the course of our senior citizens as they walk, and provide them with a safe zone to walk on safely and ambulate, even whether if they're walking or if they're in a handicapped apparatus, where some people have mechanical wheelchairs, things of that nature. There are other types of things, I forget what they're called, that may be motorized, that helps them through their handicap, get around on sidewalks. Those are certainly inclusive of items that can be on the sidewalks, because all handicap vehicles are open on our sidewalks to provide an opportunity for people to ambulate onto our sidewalks who are having handicap difficulty.
Did we have a designated golf cart sign for the one sidewalk behind the condos?
Yeah, we are designating
Is it gonna have?
walkway that's over 8 feet wide to get behind the condos to lead out to the golf course. But truthfully, I understand they're closing up that,
The gate,
the gate was closed up.
I'm not too
So
sure.
I don't know
nobody's,
about that, but if it's gonna be designated, we're gonna put a sign up, correct?
We currently have a proposed location for the signs that was approved.
Yeah.
I could bring that back up and show you if you would like to move one of them, maybe.
yeah, we can put a sign back,
We have a,
even if we have to create a different sign, it goes back
you
there.
could buy an extra one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will buy one and put it there where we designated the area for people to be able to use that to go back to use the 8 foot wide sidewalk.
Yeah, we're doing this in phases, so you purchased a specific amount, but if we need to get one extra one, that's not, they already have all of our artwork on file.
Yeah.
Real quick, you do also want to take a quick motion for, opening up the public comments.
We'll open up for public comments. If there are any,
We got one.
Just
you
take
got
a-
one? Okay,
Go in.
we got a public comment.
I just need a motion.
Huh?
I need a motion for that.
We need a motion to have a public comment. I
second it.
I so moved, probably second, all in favor?
Here.
Public comments accepted.
I got a feeling about this.
You're good.
Your earlier comment about the yard waste and debris, I looked in my emails and I sent you a copy of it. July of 24, we did inform the community of how they should put out yard waste, why they should not put it in plastic bags. As a member of the landscape committee, actually the chair, we have always wanted to educate the community. If you read the newsletter, there is a monthly article in there. We hope people read them. Part of the issues that we experience in this community is reading. People don't read. It's a fact, and we've got to tell you 3 times before you absorb it in the gray matter. So Ken, I forwarded you the email that we did send out in July of 24.
Okay.
I'll be more than happy to work with you to get it out so that people know that they shouldn't just put their stuff out, because if there's any wind or anything, it's all over the community and then it looks like trash.
I would say let's dust it off
We need to dust it off,
and let's get it out again.
and we might need.
Can we encapsulate that to like a paragraph and a half that can be included in our next quarterly email?
Do you remember when we first moved in, we got the 3 buckets for recycling?
That's what I want my.
Actually, we're outside the realm of what we're discussing now. We're talking golf cart and that.
Sidewalks.
No,
Sidewalks.
I walk on the sidewalk, I don't have a bike or a golf cart.
Okay, no, what I'm saying is that this is the public hearing.
Sorry.
That's it. That's okay.
Joey Walker, a lot of times when she does her walks, she communicates back to me and Brian on issues that we may have missed.
Okay, that's good.
So her safety is very important. You know, we don't want to have her run over by a bike
Exactly.
or a golf cart or a scooter.
And if I'm listening to my music, sometimes they may not hear the bike if they ring their bell,
Right.
if they had a bell on their bike.
I wish I could fix stupid. Okay.
Okay. Now as my attorney here is saying, we're now trying to focus comments now specifically on the golf cart wording and the issue with regard to these public comments.
Fine, I'm good.
Okay,
None at the moment.
None at the moment, thank you.
We'll back up in the.
Okay,
back.
I'll stand.
okay.
You can take a motion to close.
I take a motion to close the public hearing based on all of.
No, so you're just closing.
Closing.
Okay, got it.
Closing public comments, motion to close. Walters, second. LeBrecq. And all in favor, aye. Okay, motion is being closed now on the public comment with regard to the golf cart issue. We've discussed the issue. We're comfortable that we have tried to include
Public comments.
public comments as well as all of the comments of the supervisors. taken into account as we try to conclude what our approach will be. What our approach will be, new signs that we've agreed, the wording on will be placed throughout the community. In addition, a specific sign leading back to the 8-foot wide sidewalk behind the condos, which may be utilized by golf carts and other vehicles. But that's the wording and the binding of our group
Quick
today.
question. You said that they were all, they have the artwork.
Yeah.
Some were already printed. Did you say not all of them were made? I mean, you paid for them, but
No. So all of them are made. If you need an extra one, they have our
Oh,
artwork on file.
okay.
And we get the money.
That would be able to make a revision if we only purchased the sample.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did. We purchased, I think it was
We went
27.
whole hog and got them.
Now, we all realize, whatever we do, there's gonna be some people complaining,
Always.
always.
That's possible.
Right.
It is an impossible situation. There is no solution.
We're trying to do the,
Meeting our position.
Not exactly.
we're trying to do the best that we can to protect the community from anybody getting hit while they're walking on our sidewalks. This is our best effort and, it's in order to protect people. That's what we're doing here. And that's what our decision has been. We will take other comments if there are more, now that we've completed the golf cart thing, more comments.
We have to adopt the resolution
There
20,
again?
we'll have to adopt resolution 2025-02.
Yeah, 2025-02.
Do you need, yeah, it's the public hearing.
Okay, can I get a motion to adopt?
Do you need like,
I mean,
specific?
if we wanted to make changes to the policy going forward,
No, we're good.
if what's in the package is good with you, that
Do you want to review the package real quick?
I don't-
Just to make sure?
no, we're taking, it's just whether or not we want to do it in substantial form.
Right.
But again, for these public hearings, this doesn't affect the, no, not the algo. That's not what I was saying. It doesn't affect, any of the assessments or anything like that.
Sure.
So we don't need to advertise. We wanted to make changes in the future to it. That was more of again, a courtesy to the community to put the advertisement out there. So, I mean, this document it's a policy. We can't make changes to it in the future, which,
I thought there was a spelling mistake on one of the lines. And I don't have it in front of me.
Jay, it may be beneficial to approve in substantial.
Yeah.
So the three.
Can we get a motion to approve in substantial form?
yeah, if there's a typo in it, I can correct that. If you approve it in substantial form, I can correct it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve in substantial form. Second by Walters. All in favor? Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed?
All those, are you opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Oh, opposed. Okay, bear with me.
Motion
Three
carries.
Motion carried.
opposed, so 3-1, motion does carry.
Anybody ask me the question why we have that policy, I'm gonna tell them, we are cognizant of safety. First,
We're,
safety first.
it's a safety issue. It's a safety issue in our community. We have, residents that are up there in age and we're trying to figure that they get a fair shake when they walk through the community.
That's very
And
good.
we don't want Joanne hit by a golf cart. Or a scooter.
I think John has some
I
comments.
think that's a very good statement, saying the position of the board is to always what is safest for the residents.
Exactly. That's
Don't-
that's our standard response.
We can't go beyond that because we have no authority.
That's correct.
So,
Right, and I just did want to make it clear that there is no enforcement behind this, so you see somebody on the sidewalks. You can't,
You yell. Be yell at them.
I don't think we can even gesture.
Yeah.
We basically watch them go by.
no terminations of any privileges, no fines or anything.
Right.
Yeah,
No violence is allowed.
Yeah.
No,
so
but however, if they hit somebody, those persons can sue them, not us.
You're
Liability.
Am I right?
It's a
They
personal
could
injury.
anyway.
We
They
protect
could anyway, right?
It's a personal
And
injury.
that's-
Yeah, if they hit somebody,
First, yeah.
Thanks.
Well, if you do the individual though, and let's say they have no assets, then they could turn around and try to.
They can take their house.
DDD.
That's what you can do.
Yeah.
You get a good lawyer, you take their house.
You can do multiple. But the point is, we are that much more protected.
When you got no money.
It's all
I'm
on.
taking your house. Put a lien on that. No, I'm gonna take your house. Sure.
So now you could probably open up a regular public.
Now, any further comments?
I will work with Ken and dust off the email that was sent out to the community, about debris
And we'll
and how
get,
to dispose of it.
we'll include that in our next newsletter.
Yeah.
We'll include that in our next newsletter.
That's fine, which was great, by the way. It was nice to see that. A little confusion on Bob's part when he read about the guardhouse. I
Yeah,
think it
well,
was just the wording.
There's a bed behind the guardhouse.
Yeah, I used to read it to figure out that.
Right.
It was the
It
wording.
belongs to the CDD.
That little portion in the night.
Right, there's an old tree back there, it's got some dead trinettes and some other dead stuff in there, I told him. We're gonna put nice doors in there, yellow and red. Make it look nice behind there, all right, it looked like crap, so we're taking care of that.
So
I agree, but in the newsletter, it said the CDD.
I don't have nothing to do with the guardhouse, all I'm worried about is our common areas. We don't wanna look at them crappy.
Newsletter?
Yeah, it was the wording that threw Bob off.
Okay.
Yeah, I've already answered.
Yeah, no, I know, I
Right.
know, but the newsletter was great. I have to say, I don't ever remember.
Make sure you get this in the record, Brian, from Paul Grenz.
Yeah.
Cause he'll make a big deal out of this.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's some valid comments in here, but, you know,
Yeah, so as the district manager, I did not see those comments
no,
prior.
it's to you.
No, I know, but I haven't been able to review because we came to the meeting, so I will attach it as an
We
exhibit.
included substantially all of his comments in the course of our discussion of the issue.
Sure,
And we made, and it will be in the record, that his comments will be in our
as
record.
an exhibit, yes, and I will make a comment of that. So,
Yeah.
So we'll get together, whenever, we can dust it off.
Yeah, no problem,
Okay,
no problem.
thank you.
Just let me know when you wanna do it.
that's fine.
We don't even have to wait till the next,
No.
Committee meeting.
Yeah. I sent it to you, so you have it in your email.
all right, you'll get my comments tonight.
Okay. We'll dust it off tomorrow.
That wraps up all the items on the agenda, including supervisor requests, comments, et cetera. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a
Motion by Small.
Oops.
John?
Small. Yeah, he popped up his finger like that. Second by LeBrecton. All in favor of adjournment? Our meeting is adjourned in a record time of 2.5 hours.
That's really good, guys. All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Wow, good job.
I was gonna say that, I drove the